first thing women notice? Your face. That's why you got to take care of it. Simple things like getting a haircut, grooming your face, and brushing your teeth is important. But there's one thing guys miss and that women always notice. It's when a guy isn't taking care of his skin. That's why I'm so excited to have T. Shanley as a sponsor of today's video. T. Shanley simplifies the process of taking care of your skin. They provide you with all the products you need and nothing you don't. Seriously, I don't think some of you believe me when I tell you how much implementing a quality skincare routine will improve your confidence in all aspects of your life. I recommend you start with the level 1 system, which comes with all the basics: daily face wash, exfoliating scrub, an AM moisturizer with an SPF 20 and a PM moisturizer. But and to make it dead simple for you guys, they provide an instruction card in every box that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. But because T just sponsoring this video, they're offering you an amazing deal. Just click the first link in the description and get 40% off your first skincare system and free gift. Plus, as a member, you'll get 20% off for life. By the way, one of their new gift options is a silicone body scrubber, which is a $20 value and a complete game changer. Once you use this, you'll never go back to a regular loofah ever again. So don't wait any longer. Click the first link in the description to start your skincare journey today.
What's going on, family? Welcome to King Talk. Let me go ahead and introduce the crew. We got Mr. Shannon Ross, Law, Sherm, Trev, Smooth, Kenny P, M. White, Sweeney, Luis, Hinkney, myself, Lapeef JR. Welcome to King Talk. What's going on, family? What's going on? How y'all doing?
Good.
What's happening there? What's happening there, brothers?
Let's get it.
Another day in paradise, man. Another day in paradise. Good to see you, gentlemen, man. King Talk is some of you guys' favorite day of the week. It's all men, man. It's all men most of the time. I got a call from HR from myself. I guess you guys have put in a paper trail on me for bringing women in on the back end. So I don't know if it was Shan. I don't know who it was, man, but HR did reach out to me, man, and I'm on probation. I'm on probation.
Shannon, you have to drop a dime, big brother.
Got some snitches.
I was trying to give me 5, man. Trying to give me 5, so I got to play better. Got to play by the rules for a little bit, man. At least for a little bit.
Yeah, you know what it is. Shan was looking out for our mental well-being. That's what he was doing. So that's why he had to go tell it.
I hope so, man. I hope so. But you know, hey, it is what it is, man. I held myself accountable for my actions, and I just took the high road. Anyhow, let's go to get the housekeeping out the way. Shout out to the sponsor, T Channeling Uncomplicated Skincare for Men. 40% off. You get 40% off along with a free gift. And if you click the link in the description and become a member, you'll get 20% off for life. Skincare is very important for men, and I strongly, strongly recommend you maintain your skincare. We also got the products for the beard. So if your beard doesn't connect, it's patchy, having problems growing, your woman's telling you your beard is too rough, get your Assured Man King on top. It's a 4-pack. We also got a 2-pack. So if you already got a good thing going on with your beard and you don't need everything, I suggest you do it, because just like the skincare, the hair is very important for you to have a regular schedule with that as well. So go ahead and click that link that's pinned to the top of the chat, and also click the link in the description and get your Assured Man King on top. With that being said, see what we got in the chat. Herlande, hoping I pronounced that correctly. Welcome, AP. Angela, Jolie, Teresa. We got AP in the house. Mary Tate. Smooth is in the chat regulating. Cloud Jones, what's going on, brother? What's going on? Gotta get you back on there, man. Fishing to Fit, Erica. Shout out to everybody, man. If you want to become part of Green Gang, that link is also in the description. And I want to thank you guys for your participation. Christopher Matthews, I just seen you. What's going on? How you doing? Welcome. If you are not in the chat, it's okay. The chat is a safe place to be. We do monitor to make sure that we are being respectful, but it's freedom of speech. So you're free to say whatever it is you want to say, as long as it's not too outrageous. Man, if it's too outrageous, then we might got to put you in timeout a little bit, but hopefully it doesn't come to that. But go ahead, interact in the chat. The chat is also a discussion. I do highlight some chats. So if you have something that can contribute to the conversation, or you maybe a question, especially my Green Gang, man. The Green Gang, I will highlight some of you guys' comments. And of course, if you super chat, you definitely have priority over everyone. So with that being said, hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel and go ahead and share the stream while you at it. Share the stream to someone who want to see great men have great discussions, fair, honest, open, transparent. And we're gonna keep it real, man. We're gonna keep it real. This panel is a diverse panel. I don't project that these people will be agreeing with every single thing, because the echo chamber is something that I don't like to see. So I think it's gonna be a great dialogue tonight, and I'm looking forward to it. You gentlemen ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right. So we're gonna go ahead and kick it off, man. I came across this video today. We're gonna get to the main topic. If it's your first time, the main topic gets filtered in depending on how the conversation goes. It may be in the middle, maybe towards the back end. I don't know, but we got a bunch of treats and goodies for you on the front end, and then we'll get to the main topic of the night. But we're gonna talk about this woman. This woman said that she had 22 bodies in one night. 22 bodies in one night.
Jesus Christ.
I know.
For the streets.
So we'll go ahead and play this clip, man. Let's talk about it, man, because the thing that I find kind of ironic is that these women are brave enough to come on social media and tell us their story. I think Trev put some in the group. I thought about bringing that one up, man, but I'm like, that might be on the fence a little bit, man. But she was transparent about her adventure with men. And then we have this young lady, which I'm about to play. I don't know if are they just not ashamed? They just don't care. It is what it is. Are they proud? What is it, Trev?
Social media attention, man. That it doesn't matter. People feel like all attention is good attention as long as somebody is paying attention, right? So there are some genuine women out there who want to get their story out, so maybe it could help women who haven't been through that experience or whatever. Or sometimes people, it's just like they want to see like where they stand in society. Let me see how people receive this, right? Because some people don't really have genuine friends to talk to about stuff, so they turn to social media just for everything. It's like confessions. And I always say that by default, humans do love to tell the truth. They just don't want the judgment. But some people will not care about the judgment because it's not in real life. So they'll go ahead and throw it all on social media because they likely won't meet any of these people that are trying to hold them accountable for it. But that attention bug is crazy, especially for our young ladies now growing up who haven't had a positive male role model in their life. They looking for that attention, so they gonna get it.
I don't know about you, man. I have a daughter, but I just couldn't imagine just being okay, grown, a child, a elder. I don't care how old she get, but her being able to openly come out and say some silly ass shit, or just being a part of it, man. I would have to do something about it. I just couldn't sit there and just relax and be okay with it.
For sure, and that's the difference, right? You and her life. And unfortunately for many of us, we don't have that positive male role model in our life that'll regulate things. First off, she wouldn't even have a situation to talk about, right? And then she's going to have the know-how to say this ain't something we talk about. So the odds of that happening to your daughter or mine is extremely unlikely.
Okay, here we go.
What?
Here we go.
What's up?
Oh man,
What's
like,
up?
let's be real, bro. It's extremely unlikely for that happen to your daughter or his.
Yes. Yes.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Yes,
bro.
it is.
Like, you are
Yes,
not
it
going
is.
to be able to control what any adult human being is going to do, bro. You think that woman's father expected her to ever have sex with 22 dudes in one night?
Man,
he would say the same thing
Okay.
you saying.
So no, he won't, because you know what? But there's action behind it. I put my life on it. I would bet my life on it that my daughter will never do anything like that. You know why? Because I instill values in her. She knows her value. She's not seeking value from outside. She don't need that outside validation. When you a good father, you know it. You set her up. There's nothing you can do to completely eliminate it. But damn sure, I will bet my life that she's not going to be like that, because I know what I'm doing as a father. I am in the life, and good fathers understand that.
All of that. You can do all of that. No, you're right. I'm a father too. I have 4 kids. But one thing I do know, I'm going to put my best foot forward, and whatever that human being decides to do with their life or with their time is no longer on me, bro. They are responsible for that.
But see, but you skipping a very important part of it. It's about having the upbringing, right? To have those values instilled younger, where that's not something that they're going to run off and do anyway, because they've been taught right. Come on, man. You know, devil's advocate could say
bro,
that.
I live
you know
in California, bro. I live in a home of porn. There are people that I know that I would have never guessed that would ever do porn. You know what I'm saying?
But we're not
I'm
talking about them. We're talking
neighbors,
about
classmates, ex-girlfriends in school, all of that, bro. Like,
I get it, but we're not talking about them. We're talking about daughters that we are raising as active fathers, right? So here's my thing. I know the main reason why these women hop online and say all this foolishness that they do is because we have really eliminated the need for shame, right? Nobody's going to shame them for it. Nobody's going to say you're not supposed to do it. They're not going to call it out like what it is, because now you antagonizing them. You can't tell it exactly like it is anymore. There's nobody pointing out the wrong that they doing. Oh, you can fuck 200 niggas and have 400 abortions and nobody's gonna say nothing to you because it's your right. You can do what you want, right? Come on, man. That's the problem.
All right, I'm gonna try to hold that thought real quick. Let me go ahead and play the clip, and then we're gonna further discuss this.
Maximum amount of people you've bonked in one day?
22.
So, Bonnie, you've been everywhere in the media lately for bonking men for free. Mm-hmm. What's the maximum amount of people you've bonked in one day?
22. That was at spring break.
Wow. Okay.
That was a sore night, to be
honest.
honest.
That's exhausting. So can you talk us through that? Like, what happened? How was that set up?
Yeah, so I basically shared my hotel room online.
Yeah.
So I was like, look, this is the room I'm staying in. Like, just come and queue up. And I'll see as many of you as possible, like, whilst I'm here. Because when I went to spring break, loads of guys was like, oh, I've messaged you to film with you. And I couldn't get through, like, all of the messages. Like, and I've said before, like, I've only got so many holes and so much time. Like, I physically could not film with everyone I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So on the last night, I was like, right, I'll just let them queue up. I'll just go one after the other.
Yeah.
And that's basically what I did.
And so how long from start to finish did that all take?
So I think I put the post at about 6 p.m. their time. And like, we finished, it must have been like 4 or 5 a.m.
What? That's insane.
And it was so funny because like during the videos you hear people knocking on the door, like you hear like other groups of lads outside
waiting.
Yeah.
Was there like a queue outside the hotel room? Was the hotel like, what the f***'s going on here?
That's what I was going to say.
I don't think they clicked on, and because it was spring break, the hotel's honestly disgusting. Like her room didn't get clean once. The food was vile. Like I don't think me entertaining the guys in my bedroom was their biggest concern. It was probably the cockroaches and everything else.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's so bad.
It was disgusting.
She ain't got no daddy.
And not one close to it. Never. And then she's talking about how dirty the hotel was. How dirty were you?
Well, I mean, she did put herself in a very dangerous situation too when you're inviting a bunch of random men. You know, like that easily could go left, right? Because none of these people are vetted. None of these people have been, pre-checked, any of that stuff. So you're kind of welcoming unforeseen circumstances onto your. So.
Just gross.
Go ahead, brother Hink.
Man, I don't know what to say, though. Motherfucker was lining out at the door trying to get somebody ass. God damn, boy, she's an honorary heifer, man. And she said it with pride. I mean, no shame about it. You know what I'm saying? And that's the scary part. Thought it was funny, thought it was entertaining. These chicks, one chick looked like she was ready to try her damn self. Yeah, man. These people look crazy. Hey, look. I'm with you, Trev, man. There's no way my daughter would attempt to do something like this because of how much, like you said, you instill your values, morals into them, and at the same time, you also got to pray and hope she doesn't do it. You know what I'm saying? Pray and hope she doesn't get tempted or way off, because we all weigh a little bit from what we was taught when we was kids. We all try some shit. We did certain things. We bucked. I ain't gonna say I didn't buck. I know I bucked the shit out of some shit, and did some shit I know I should have did. Made some decisions I know I should have made some mistakes I know I should have. And you just pray and hope that, especially your daughter, damn, I don't even want to think about that shit. But yeah, that's crazy.
Go ahead, KP.
It's interesting. I see people choose violence early today. If a man tells you that he's going to instill values in his child, the percentages favor what he says is going to happen. When you place the exception to the norm as your talking point, playing devil's advocate, I get it. You want to be polarizing, but again, there are possibilities that a child could be raised mother and father, good home. And as Trevor would know, there's certain girls that got white liver. You understand? Us as West Indians, we understand that. But that is not the norm. Most women that are raised under good households, percentage-wise, ain't going to be talking about, oh, I was quite sore after that night getting pillaged and mangled by 22 men. That needs Nelson up here to help me to understand what was the incentive. You was going for Guinness World Record, but what was that about? Why is that a bragging point? It's utterly disgusting. And I'm not gonna say it's a sign of the times. I'm just gonna say, listen, as long as you live life, you're gonna run into things like this. You're gonna have stories to tell about it. I digress.
Is there any difference between 22 in one night and 22 in 2 months?
Hell yeah. Pastrami, your thing looking like pastrami, you walking funny. Maybe the elevated chances of you catching an STD a whole lot greater than 2. You running through a whole heap of sausage. I don't think that's gonna be right for a while. Even if you dip that in some, what's that, Trev? Dettol? Take one of those baths and rinse that thing out. Yeah, it's a difference. We all like guys. Come on. I know a good couple of us done slay like 2 or 3 in a day or something like that. Different females, you understand? They could tolerate more, but 22?
It's insane.
It's a lot.
Well, I mean, but what is the psychology behind it? What is the glorification? It's the sense of freedom. It's the freedom to sleep with whoever you want. It's the freedom to do whatever you want, right? It's liberating, like we tend to kind of hear. But the reality is, freedom comes with a lot of responsibilities.
When you're doing 22, it's more than freedom. That's something that needs to be looked at. and then I would
diagnose
to ask a clinical person as for what inspires you to take 22 penises, knowing that she said she was hurt. She actually said that and said she was laughing. That's something to be looked into because that's an anomaly and not a good one.
Insane work.
Go ahead, Brother Shan.
A woman is getting bonked by 22 guys in one night. We watched the video. So number one, she's mentioned about it being filmed. So she was a porn star. This is not the normal, regular, everyday girl that just got ran through. She did it for, she's a porn star. And shockingly, women porn stars aren't any more quote unquote damaged than the general population of women. A study have found. They found, in fact, that a lot of the actresses have higher self-esteem, positive feelings about themselves, and many of them do it just for the straight sexual satisfaction. They're no more likely to be victims of childhood sex abuse than the average girl who would never do any kind of porn whatsoever. But Lord Sherm, who's out here in Cali, I'm in LA, so I'm assuming you're in LA, Sherm. Oh,
I was muted. Yeah, I am.
Okay, so he know how these women move out here, and I believe that's where he's understanding. Like, it's like, yo, it's some wild shit that happens out in LA. But hear me out, Sherm. Yes or no question for you: do you believe that pretty much everybody is a product of their environment?
Yes, to a certain extent, I do.
Well, yes, always to a certain extent. There's nuance and everything, but I agree. And I think that's what Kenny is saying. Possibility versus probability. Is it possible that Trev's daughter can get a train ran on her coming from a loving home with a loving father?
I wouldn't want to mention anyone's daughter. I'm just saying, like, in the
but you're talking about just women. We use him as an example, but it could happen.
I would hate to use anybody's child or daughter as an example.
But you're saying it can happen to anybody, right? It can happen. We can't control adults once they be adults. They're gonna make the decisions that they have. They're gonna be who they're gonna be, right? That's your overreaching point.
Yeah, that was my whole basis. I wasn't trying to pinpoint anybody's daughter specifically.
Yeah. And Trev knows that. Trev knows that. He's a vet.
Yeah. We just talking. Nobody.
Yeah, I would hate. But go ahead, bro.
Yeah, but the thing is, whether it's Trev's daughter or anybody's daughter, Kenny is speaking to the probabilities, and that's typically what men do. Like a lot, men, we talk about probabilities. We talk about the chances of, and if people are, and as you agree, products of their environment, you got to think about children. Like, why is a child scared of a roach? What makes a child scared of a roach? Because they learn to be scared of roaches. They learn that their mother don't want to pick them up.
Right.
Why is a child scared? Why does a child grow to be to know that poop is icky? When they were a baby, they didn't care. They'd sling it on you. As a child, baby doesn't care nothing about no poop, but they grow up to learn that, man, poop and pee is nasty and to not touch this. And as a parent, we say, oh, no, that's caca. Don't touch that. And wash your hands. And we train them to understand the things that they should be afraid of or know that they should avoid versus the things that we embrace. When you have a strong father in a child's life, on a day-to-day basis, growing up, and a father is doing his job to protect that child, they grow to know what's nasty and what's not. And what a daughter would learn if she has a solid dad. And we talk about probabilities, not possibilities, Sherm. A father would teach his daughter 22 boys, 12 boys, 2 boys in one night. That's nasty. And so I get what you're saying, Sherm. Well, it can happen to anybody, but the odds, as Kenny said, of it happening with a solid family in place is so low, it's not even worth discussing. And I think that's the point. So this woman here, you have to ask, well, damn, is it, is she got bunked by 22 guys? Well, what's three? Oh, she was getting paid. She's calling it spring break, but she made sure it was getting filmed. She's a porn star. That's why she's being interviewed.
Yeah.
And then we get back to the why are women just being open? That's a different discussion. I think JR opened it up with that. But I want to be clear about the fact that let's not pretend that a lot of these children will go out and do what they want to do, because we did what we wanted to do, despite what our parents told us. But somehow we always reverted back to, damn, mom warned me about that, or I don't want to be seen as that, or as my man Law said, shame is important. We need to bring that back. I 100% agree with that. So it's nasty, yes. But was she getting paid? Was it part of her job? Yes. Is she any more broken or damaged than than your next door neighbors? No. So let's take that into consideration before we think that it can happen to anybody and there's nothing we can do. I don't want to be too draconian or black-pilled about it. That's all I got to say.
All right. Sweeney, I'm not sure if you're there. You there? Probably not. M. White?
Yo.
Okay. Yeah, we're talking about the woman that got bumped by 22 guys in one night. What are your thoughts?
How much did she make?
She didn't say anything about any money. It's almost sounded like it was just a random activity, a sport, a thrill.
It was
pro bono.
Pro bono. Funny as hell. I mean, she obviously a whore, and like a real legit prostitute. So shit, she should have at least been charging like $300-400 for the event. They should have made it a whole thing. So she could have tried. What's 22 times 400? Like 16,000. It's like around 18,000. Shit, if she on OnlyFans, she's selling pussy. That's what she do. Shit, I can't. Hoes go home. It ain't really much I can say about that. She ain't even the one. That's not even. You seen that lady who fucked like 1,000 dudes over 3 days?
Yeah.
That's impressive. Like as far as hoeing goes, she not even
the Guinness book. But they was never mind.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, as far as hoeing go, that's not even like spectacular hoeing. Like shit, she.
Not that that's subpar hoeing.
That's like
that's a good night on the stroll. What they call it on the blade.
On the blade. Yeah, that's not even, because obviously this is what we talk about, a prostitute. Like a prostitute go be a prostitute. She just bogus if she didn't get paid. That's silly.
I think it's more like promotional, like just so fans can kind of get in touch. You know what I'm saying? Like that type deal. So
you supposed to give out one freebie, not 22. You supposed to say, "Hey, I'm over here doing this," and let that one come.
Not supposed to do a raffle. People. A raffle?
She should have did something else other than that. Like that should have never. I heard Lord Sherm say, "We can't tell what's gonna happen with our kids. That shit ain't happening with my kids." I'm sorry.
I mean, it ain't gonna be no 22 dudes. That's the damn show. I ain't saying that. But my whole point was like, you just never know what your children are gonna do. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you just got to do the best you can and just rock with it. Like nobody ever looked at a baby and said, "Damn, it's possible that this child is gonna be a damn porn star one day getting banged by 22 dudes."
You know how you could. What's a good predictor of shit like that? Incest. Sexual assault.
I mean, you really can't define it, bro, because sometimes people that don't even
fall in love with an abusive man
turn out to be.
Whereas no breaks where the father could come in or any man could come in and kind of stop that. Like most of the strippers I know throughout my life, they all was sexually assaulted. Like 95%. Shit like that either makes people devalue sex to the point where they get that shit away like cookies, or they become extremely prudish and they separate themselves from sex. They normally don't have a I'm gonna remain normal attitude to it. If I was to guess, something traumatic happened to that girl when she was younger, and it made her disassociate the value of sex with herself, and she just freely get that shit away, and she no longer cares. If I was to guess, and as a father, right now, my kids leave the house. So you don't know this about me, but my kids been with me every single hour of the day except for 2 days when I went to a wedding for the last 5 years. They not allowed to leave from out my presence until all of them can talk. Me or my wife presence until all of them can talk. And when they come home, they come and give me a report on everything they did, if they had fun, and if they had any problems with anybody. Every last time they come in and out the house. So when I'm saying like that's why I say I highly sincerely doubt that the trauma needed to form that is going to be able to fester in my children.
Yeah, but it is
Marcus,
like,
would you bet your life on it?
Yeah, I bet my life on it. Because either way, if somebody touched my kid and put that trauma on them, my life end that day anyway if I get caught. So it is what it is.
I'll second that. Listen, that's one of those things, man. You just do, like you said, Sherm, yeah, you do the best that you can, but you also have to understand the best that you can goes a long way when you're really doing it the right way. You know, you teaching these children values to value themselves. If they realize that that's dishonorable and they carry themselves, you know, because they're cut from a certain cloth, then that's not something that you normally gonna have to really be worried about. Now, when it comes to what Marcus was saying about the assault, I've interviewed multiple women that's in the business, OnlyFans models, whatever the case may be, and they always talk about sexual trauma, sexual assault at some point. You know what I'm saying? Like when they were little, even if they didn't think it was sexual assault, I've heard it. You know what I mean? They just because you think, oh, it was your babysitter that was only like 5-6 years older than you. You ain't look of it like assault at the time. You were assaulted. You know what I mean? Like you were assaulted. Yeah, you a successful adult entertainer now, but you don't think that helped shape you? You know what I mean? Where you disassociate the value of sex and you feel like, hey, I could just do it for money. You gonna pay me for it? Cool. I give it away anyway. So I've seen it. I completely agree, man.
I mean, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of women that get sexually assaulted, period, without even becoming sex workers, bro. Like that's a staggering statistic. You know,
Right.
I interview women I have a mental health podcast, Militant Grind. I interview plenty of women that's been sexually assaulted that are, you know, corporate professionals. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like
that don't mean they not hoes.
Bro, I mean, I don't know what anybody
you know
does.
what I'm saying?
Those doors. I can't say who's a hoe and who's not. You know what I'm saying? Like
the point I was making wasn't that it.
You kind of cut out, man, White. No, I think we might have lost the signal.
I want to just, because I'm not trying to paint victims as they just gonna become hoes. That's not what I'm saying at all. I'm saying that the people who were like that, a lot of it came from trauma.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, something just confused me. You said you interviewed them, but you were not able to put a solid critique on them when challenged lawsuit. Did you even ask or delve in deep enough to find out if they had an alternate lifestyle or if they had fetishes? So did you do, what was it, a PG interview, or was it a
no, bro, they just sharing their story. I don't ask them what they do when their personalized sexuality now, you know, like sexually now. I don't have a sexual, you know, let's talk about sex podcast. You know what I'm saying? It was just interviewing them about
me. You said that was the crux of what you were asking them. So that would
be
they
shared their story and said that they've been sexually abused.
And you never broached it, being the journalist.
I never what?
Broached. Went deeper into it.
No.
Being that it was presented.
That it was presented, I'll let them tell their story, but the whole basis is mental health. How'd you overcome it? What are you doing now? I'm not gonna go in. So did you go in bars and, you know, get drunk and have sex with guys? Like, I'm not asking them questions like that. That's not the premise.
That's not the premise of that show. Okay.
Yeah.
So you didn't ask them about nothing dealing with cutting grass, not getting good dick from a pookie, nothing like that either, right?
No, sir.
Okay, fair enough.
And let me put this out here real quick, and I don't mean to be the Debbie Downer of the group, but in my experience, there's a lot of liars out there. So when we throw out things like, a lot of women been sexual assault is shameless. Like nobody's gonna be like, oh my God, how what'd you do? It's like if somebody was to attribute themselves to being sexually assaulted, it's always met with open arms and consolement. But lazy and bad choices that's shameful. So just Shan being Shan, and you guys know how I am and where I stand. Oftentimes, women will lie and attribute trauma that they never experienced just to avoid accountability in other failures of their lives. Not saying anybody that you guys talk to is lied. Just know, fellas, when you speaking to people, you got to listen objectively, because a lot of people will say that they've gone through shit that they never went through just so you can be like, oh, I understand why you are a hoe or a slut or a failure or ain't got no money or didn't make bad, or you had a baby, or you didn't do this, or you didn't listen to this, or you ignored everybody. Oh, that's what happened to you. And then come here and we pat them on the back, and them motherfuckers are sitting there lying to you straight face, or lying to you with full crocodile tears. So just want to put that out there, that a lot of women lie. Go ahead.
So Shannon, real quick, let me ask you something. You never take what somebody tell you at face value?
I try to. And historically I have. It's like what you tell me is true. Who am I to investigate, find out? What I've discovered is that a lot of times I find out it's hindsight is 20/20 for me. It's later on. It's like, oh, I didn't put two and two together. Oftentimes, I do take it as face value, Kenny. It's like if brothers tell me, oh, man, I was a hoe back in the day. Okay. If soldier tells me, oh, I went to war. Okay. If a dude tells me he was gangbanging. Okay. Dude tells me that he's a killer. Okay. A girl tells me her father, her uncle, her grandfather, or she was touched by a teeth. Okay. Until I find out later, like, nigga, you know what? Oh, so that's the truth. Oh, so you did
what you just said?
And so what
you just said, Shannon?
Men, it stops with everybody, but I hear it a lot in women. So I take it face value. I try to be, who am I? Because I'm not no oracle. I can't look into people's past by touching on their shoulder and getting a fucking full image of their lives. But sometimes, in fact, oftentimes, once you get to know somebody and you let them talk long enough, Ken, you let them, you start putting two to two together, and you be like, well, wait a minute, that didn't add up. And then when you find out later, oh, you forgot that part of the story. Mm-hmm. Oh, you didn't mention that part when you told me what happened. How come? But now you already invested, or something can happen. So I just want everybody to always have a tad bit of skepticism when anybody is telling you this terrible story that they've been through, because oftentimes if you were to investigate, you'd find out that shit don't be true.
You hear what you said? In closing, find out, investigate. So no matter what it is, it would lead you to ask questions and discern whether this person in front of me is valid, or the story that they tell me before I champion it is valid.
Yeah, which is why I give shout outs to people like you, Ken, because you help people in financial situations. You may not necessarily be a psychologist or a therapist, but in you turning people's financial woes around in New York, I'm certain that you don't just listen to everybody that come to you and say they broke. It's like, well, okay, you say you are, but before I put you in this program, or before I get you on this particular financial assistance, let me find out. Imagine how many people you find out that was just straight up lying on the application. Same thing. That's why I give,
Most are. That's why I have a saying. It's okay to not be okay. It's not okay to stay there, because I found out rampant in my community, more people are indulging in pride and ignorance, and they're ashamed of showing what they really are. So I have to be discerning. Somebody can't tell me nothing. It's not an off switch. And when somebody tell me something, now I ask questions to validate their statements. Because guess what? I'm held to that same standard. For anything I say, guess what they're going to do? They're going to look for that aha moment. So that's why I try to convey it to the brothers. I can't take nothing at face value. There has to be some kind of investigation or discernment within it. Now,
Yeah,
I'm
but
going off the point, JR. I'm sorry. I digress.
But Kenny, I like what you just said. You know, it's okay. It's okay not to be okay, but it's not okay to stay there. But unfortunately, we have an entire community of people that coddle individuals that allow them to stay there in that place. They don't ever move from it because there's so much coddling and there's so much, you know, allow them to kind of bask in their victimhood rather than, you know, take a moment to reflect and understand that something happened to them and that they're able to kind of persevere right out of it. But unfortunately, we allow people to kind of stay in that position for far too long that it becomes a detriment to their own growth.
Yeah. We're going to transition, y'all. Thank you for that, Luis. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Moving right on. Did you guys hear about Venezuelan gangs are kicking black people out of their apartments in Denver, Colorado?
What?
Yeah. I heard a bit about
that.
Is
this breaking news?
It's not just it's the MS and those hardcore gangs that they ain't playing no games. They actually doing it in New York. A couple of those gang members that shot those people, they were MS-13.
All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play a little bit of the clip. We're gonna talk, and I got another little clip for it too.
Outgoing people, many of the residents that we talked to here simply say they have not had enough time to find more permanent housing, and they're really caught in the middle this morning.
I thought there would be some compassion, maybe a little bit of an extension to help these people find somewhere to go. They put some paperwork on our doors saying, if you find a place to go, we'll pay your deposit in first month's rent. I bet you $100 to $1. Nobody has been put or placed or helped find somewhere to go.
Now, the building's management says that the problem stems from gangs that have pretty much overrun the entire building and taken control of the building. They say it's not the code violations that the city claims.
An undocumented immigrant is not a criminal, and we have to correct course in this conversation. Una persona sin papeles no es criminal. Sí se puede.
Sí, pero si no lo ha averiguado, ellos sí son criminales.
En inglés, por favor.
I said yes, but the problem is that they're not vetted or properly screened. They're not properly screened or vetted, so therefore, you know, one has to move and operate under the assumption that there is a level of criminality. You know what I'm saying?
Luis, you think they can screen all those people that's getting busted into these cities?
But see, that's the problem. It's not. You can't do that once they get to the city. You have to do it prior to that.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's a funnel. It's a funnel, and you can't expect it once it's wide open right into the cities. You know what I'm saying? Because at that point, you can't control how many people have come through, who has been screened properly.
Louis, you're correct. But where they come from, do we have the manpower to
no,
are we allocating the tax dollars to make that happen? No.
But the whole infrastructure isn't set up like that. Like these cities are being overhauled because there was never any sort of procedure or process in place to handle such a large influx of people all at once and multiple metropolitan cities across the U.S. There has been case studies that has been done. For example, in like upstate New York and Ithaca, where they've taken an abandoned town and they have moved migrants there, right? But they've already had gone through the proper survey and stuff like that. This is a la carte. This is all coming at once.
I just had a family meeting myself about, and right before we hopped on, about an hour before that, discussing some of the same stuff. Look, these people need to have a plan in place because we are becoming overran in these cities. My city in particular, Chicago, with illegal immigrants.
When you say these people need to have a plan. What people are you talking about?
Our people, Black folks, the ones that are getting put out of their homes, right?
Okay.
Yeah. You know, we need to have something in place, a plan in place, because they are really trying to make us even more of a minority by allowing a bunch of undocumented immigrants in to cover that black vote, right? So if we give them the ability to vote after they've already come in, now I don't know if anybody, Democrats, Republicans, I don't really care, but now Democrats are trying to boost their bottom line, right? They're trying to put these people in position to where when they do have the ability to vote, they are going to be, you know, that vote that they're missing with us in case we leave. That's all it's really about.
Is that good or bad, Law?
I think it's terrible.
Okay, well, here's what you do. Like I said a prior week ago, all the blacks that's blackity black complaining, learn who your alderman is, learn who your senator is, learn who your representative is. Put boots on the ground, petition for what you want within your neighborhoods. Us blacks do more talking than putting boots on the ground, ask for what's in our neighborhoods. And then when they do what they do to us, we cry foul.
Right. So here's the thing. I've brought shout out neighborhood hero, my homie Alicia. We got boots on the ground, right? But here's the thing: what they do is they bust them to our communities. I don't know how New York is set up. Really, I know LA isn't really set up the same way Chicago is. Chicago is the most segregated city in the United States. We have different neighborhoods. You can go to an all black neighborhood, all Hispanic neighborhood, all Polish neighborhood, all Italian neighborhood, and so on and so forth, right? It's always been that way. What they were doing was sending them directly to impoverished black districts. They would have them sleep in front of the police stations, on the streets. They rent out entire hotels and give them money. And that's pushing our impoverished people out. Now we're not getting any of those benefits.
They're doing that in New York.
Right. So you get it. So even having those boots on the ground, you're not doing much but yelling in a meeting. And nothing's really happening because our mayor is allowing people to come in, right? Because that's something that our previous mayor allowed people to do because we became a sanctuary city. So that's creating those issues. And now the resources are going to people when you have our own poor people here in our own city that can't get a dime, you know, but that's what we're doing, right? It's terrible. That's my issue.
What was the onset? The very thing I told you. People saw that coming. This wasn't the first. It started happening with the migrants being moved around under Obama, right? Obama's outset, Trump came into office. It started happening at that point in time. There wasn't the blackity blacks out there doing what they were supposed to be doing, even though it got distorted by the vision of Trump pushing the wrong message. You know, the S-hole countries. So now you're not going to get the country galvanized because now you're disrespecting the diaspora of where Lewis and I come from. So now people are going to be like, oh, this is a touchy. I can't really touch it. They do need somewhere. They're putting them in cages. They're displacing kids. That's what they did on media. Showing like, oh, your kid's in Colorado. You see a Spanish mom crying. So couldn't really touch it. We should have galvanized it then because media was in control of what we saw. And it was less rampant than what they said. So that actually opened the floodgate to where it is now.
Kenny, wasn't it a larger Middle Eastern population that under the Obama administration, it wasn't so much
Middle Eastern? You said the Middle Eastern migrants? No.
No. Okay.
No. That's when out comes Obama, in comes Trump, ban on countries coming from where? No.
Everywhere.
No. Ban on countries coming from where? Predominantly.
Oh, the Middle East.
Yeah.
All I know is if I break the law, they'll try and give me a gang Rico. If they break the law, they're going to get their ass $20K, a place to stay, and dump it right in the middle of the hood. That shit is crazy. And
Marcus, you my brother, but you're talking with two tongues right now. You speak with reverence about something that you grew up in, but then have issues when other things are put on your cake. More icing is put on the cake, but your cake tastes nasty because it comes from a history of things not being done right, perpetual impoverishment, people lining up with certain cloths. And I'm being respectful to what you adhere to and other brothers up here adhere to. So can you really cry foul when something else is put in there and you never even made up your bed?
I that shit ain't got shit to do with what I'm talking about. I'm clearly talking about if I break the law, they arrest my ass if they catch me. If they break the law, they give them money, resources, and a place to stay in my neighborhood. They need the mass report. Nigga, I'm here. I see it. What are you talking about?
Absolutely doing it.
So what are you talking about? Lord, let me ask you a question. Hold on, Marcus. Let me ask you a question. So I go out there like the guy in New York that shot up the people. He got room and board and money? No, he didn't. He got deported.
Breaking the law is coming over here. It's illegal. It's not legal to come over here. There's a path to legal citizenship. That's not it. Jumping the fence is illegal. If I go in the store and steal some shit, I can't be like, well,
Marcus,
I mean,
you're not being fair, Marcus.
I don't give a fuck about fair. I give a fuck about what I'm talking about.
You should give a fuck about your fair because it leads to your credibility in your statements. What you're saying right now, you're comparing and see. I'm thinking that you're saying the equivalent if an undocumented worker does the equivalent crime as you, that they're going to get some money.
No, that's not what I'm talking about. No. I'm not talking about that.
Clear what you're saying.
What I'm saying is it legal for them to? Are they breaking the law by coming into America?
Yep. All day.
Are they getting resources and dumped in a neighborhood?
Yep. All day.
If I break the law and they know I broke the law, am I going to jail?
Of course.
Yes,
so
you are.
What did I say wrong? I don't get
because
it.
You're
not getting no resources either.
Implying that the law that you broke is the same one that they broke. So listen,
the law is the law,
reality.
Right?
No, Marcus.
No, it's not apples to apples, Marcus.
The law is the law.
No, listen, Marcus. I understand. Listen, I'm with you. Listen, at the end of the clip, JR played Kamala, and she was speaking in Spanish, and she was saying that she said undocumented immigrants are not criminals. False. Undocumented immigrants, by definition, is a criminal. We don't have to go no further. They are a criminal. But here's the deal. So is a jaywalker who crosses the street and doesn't use the crosswalk. I'm a criminal because I always jaywalk. I don't ever go to the crosswalk. I just don't. I just bust across the street. I am a criminal. Also, I get what you're saying. However, when you say that they are criminals by definition, I agree. I think most people would agree. Well, most people who got some common sense would agree with you. But you're trying to match you robbing a liquor store with them just being over here. Well, that's synonymous to matching you robbing a liquor store to me just jaywalking. The crimes aren't the same. And that's what we're giving you pushback on. Hear me out, though. I agree with you. Undocumented immigrants are by definition a criminal. But, listen, you guys, years ago, when defund the police, right? I remember when that came out, I was like, what are y'all talking about? Defund the police. I like the police. What the fuck? What do you mean defund the police? The cops in my neighborhood is cool. I'm cool with there's some bad apples in the force, yeah. But the police is cool. What you mean defund them? No, fuck the police and defund the police, and we don't need. And I was against that, and I couldn't tell you guys how many discussions and arguments I got during that process of 2020, right after George Floyd. But now we got brothers and sisters getting basically muscled out of their apartments in whatever city they're in by some criminals. Defund the police. Which one is it? Do we like the police and we need their assistance, or don't we? Which one is it?
I don't have to like the police for them to do their job. They got a job, right? And this ain't even got shit to do with them. This is actually ICE. I ain't never had no issue with ICE.
Yeah, but ICE isn't patrolling your local neighborhoods. ICE is patrolling the border. So once they get past ICE, it becomes local police. But then half the black community seems to want to defund them.
Hey, I got another.
We never said nothing. Look, as a matter of fact, AP said it perfectly. Criminal trespass, right? I actually it was a time when I was getting harassed by the police. I actually got locked up like 4 times for criminal trespass just for standing on the street. Just for standing out there. Wasn't even doing shit, just standing there. They locked my ass up.
So Marcus, I think maybe perhaps the direction that we ought to be going is more reform policing and maybe more community policing. You know, have more people who look more like you, or people within that community who
I'm
are
not
not.
talking about that. I'm talking about deporting. They need to deport these motherfuckers. Like,
I hold tight, y'all. I got another clip.
what part of this is like the
That's a
police is a separate issue. Look,
Hey,
these
I got
motherfuckers go do, huh?
I got another clip I want to play. Here we go.
Common Sense 101. The Venezuelan prison gang known as Tren de Aragua has taken over an apartment complex in Aurora, Colorado, right outside of Denver. The property manager known as CBZ Management has been trying desperately to regain control of their apartment that they have just spent $300,000 to bring to code with renovations, but they can't even go in there because the Venezuelan gang has taken over their apartments. The city has denied the allegations. Local officials and the media, including Kyle Clark of 9 News, have denied the allegations, even though they have posted eviction notices on the doors of residents and given them a very short amount of time to move out, find somewhere else to live, figure it out, we don't care. If this had been Cherry Creek, if this had been Greenwood Village, Jared Polis, the Colorado governor, would have sent in the damn National Guard. But because it's full of black and brown people in Aurora, nobody cares. This is a very dangerous problem. This is just a testing ground. You need to understand this. This CBZ management says, we would like to be able to resume normal operations at our buildings, but we cannot do so under the threat of present and immediate danger against residents, staff, and management. The spokesperson for this company goes on to say, this is an issue our city needs to face head on with law enforcement and the further support of our state and country's leaders, border czar Kamala Harris, to protect affected tenants, the surrounding communities, and Americans across the nation. Translation: CBZ management is giving the country and the surrounding areas in Denver a heads up. Your community is next. And if you think you're protected because of how you vote or because of your location, you're not. You're not safe. Your children are not safe. You better get civic minded and stop saying, I'm not into politics, because politics is into you. You got Kamala Harris running around now wanting to be the head of the entire country, but she has spent the last 4 years ignoring the border as the border czar, although she was given that job. And for somebody who claims to be a baddie and a boss lady and a strong, empowered woman, she didn't take the lead on a damn thing except ignoring you and putting twerking rappers and fried chicken into neighborhoods to try to get your vote. Once again, for failing you the previous 4 years. But guess what? She wants a chance to do it all over again. This is unbelievable. DHS, Department of Homeland Security, was investigated by the Office of Inspector General. There was a report in June that was the final report issued that says DHS needs to improve its screening and vetting of asylum seekers and non-citizens applying for admission into the United States. This is a very detailed report. I suggest you go read it so that we cannot be accused of mis and disinformation. Go read the report by the Office of Inspector General. Lastly, I would like to point out the very glaring truth and fact that President Trump has been saying for years, that these foreign countries are releasing their prisoners and sending them to the United States. They are releasing their asylum residents to come to the United States. They're here, okay? According to this report by DHS, CBP, it is widely known that Tren de Aragua is a Venezuelan prison gang. Prison. They released them from Venezuelan prisons, and they now live here around you and your children. Are you still going to sit by and claim that Trump is racist or something's wrong with him when he is the only politician who is willing to address this head on? And to not just address it, but to eliminate the problem in its entirety, because they're illegal foreign nationals who are not supposed to be here in the first place. Are you still going to sit there indignant with your cognitive dissonance and pretend that Trump is the problem when it's the politicians that you are donating money to and have been voting for years and have gotten zero results? Is this what I'm led to believe? Let me tell you something, Becky. You're not safe. Your children are not safe. This is not hyperbolic, and it's not fear-mongering. You better go read this damn DHS report. Like CBZ management said, this is a problem that is going to extend into local communities and into the United States as a whole. You better start contacting your local police, your local sheriff, your local politicians, your city council, your governor, your mayors, your city managers, and you better start asking them what the hell is going on and what are you going to do about this problem? Because I promise you, it will be you next. You better vote responsibly in November if you want to be safe in your own damn home. Common sense, bro. Common sense. Use it.
I agree. There's a dangerous precedent. I'm curious if Texas is going through anything remotely even close to this.
Listen, man, shout out to old girl. I feel what she's upset because it's hitting her personally. But listen, Cherry Creek and Greenwich Village, they probably pay their taxes. They probably not a burden. They probably donate to law enforcement on the annual Christmas funds and shit. And I'm certainly they didn't probably say defund the police. The warning to the other communities and shit, they ain't got nothing to worry about. It is hyperbolic and fear mongering that she's saying, because they ain't gonna take over no apartments in Cherry Creek. The reality is, and I just looked it up, Aurora is a Democratic city. Aurora is Colorado's third largest city, and they changed their political views over the last 5 years from a conservative voting city to a Democratic voting city.
So minorities.
And what you said was wrong. And I already know how I feel about Kamala, but Kamala, she wasn't in charge of border security. She was tasked with finding out why they're breaking in. I get it. They want to say that she was a czar, but she wasn't in charge of that. But what's the solution? The solution is that we need a community, but do we have one? Remember me and Rilla was going back and forth on this about 2 months ago. We have no community.
We do have one there. That the community has been at town hall meetings, been going at the mayor, been going at the alderman. They've been marching about this shit. And you heard Law say we got a black community, a Mexican community, a Puerto Rican community, a white community. We segregated like a motherfucker. We actually have these things. In there, you have niche things within the black community, but like Homan, Christiana, Spalding, Sawyer, Kersey. It's a damn near different gang on each one of them blocks. But if those migrants are going crazy, all these niggas gonna click up. I promise you they will. It's the same thing that happened during the pandemic. When the Mexicans on 20, when the Latin Kings from off 26 got to acting crazy and tried to throw a pole through a woman with a baby car that was driving through their neighborhood because they didn't want no blacks in their area. Because during the pandemic they said we was tearing shit up and they don't want us to tear their neighborhood up, but they was coming tearing other people's shit up. As soon as they did that, all the GDs went down there and aired their ass out. The black community. So it does exist,
not the GDs. Be careful. That's what I'm saying. See, I know we have. Remember that was a discussion that we had. We have cliques. We got pots, but community is overreaching. It should spread from East Coast to West Coast. It shouldn't be what concerns you in Chicago should concern me and the rest of the black folk out here in LA, because that's how it is if you was Jewish. That's how it is if you were East Indian. That's how it is if you are pretty much if you're Muslim, if you're part of the Nation of Islam. What happens in Chicago, what happens in Florida affects the brothers that's living in DC. But that we don't have that. And so like I get it. My argument is black people is like, well shit, I ain't in Aurora, Colorado. Y'all figure that out. It's far too many of us is like, well, it ain't affecting nobody in my family, so I'm good. I'm worried about my problems over here. Whereas that's not the same way. But then that's what I mean by community.
I gotta stay no that one, Shannon.
No, hold on, man. Can I interject on that? Because Shannon, I respect what you're saying though, and that sounds good in the perfect world. But were you born and raised in LA?
All day, 1972.
Where'd you grow up at?
In Crenshaw district, that's where I live now, and in the Valley.
Okay, so in the Crenshaw district, because I went to Crenshaw High School, so I know about all that.
It's around the corner. I'm on 48th and 6th Ave.
Oh, solid. So there's neighborhoods there. There's here, there's there, and within those neighborhoods, within those gangs, bro, you even have cliques within the gangs. You know what I'm saying? So it's like these are my homies, but I'm a part of the gang, but I'm a part of a neighborhood card, and I'm a part of this, and I'm a Crip. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, everybody is divided the same way with like the United States. Like we have states that make up the United States. You know what I'm saying? So it's hard for me to be a pillar in my community in Los Angeles and them in Chicago and be like, okay, we need to do something about Aurora. There's no way in hell we could be effective in Aurora, Colorado, being where we're at, unless we just post something online. You know what I'm saying? Or cause what they would say.
Well, we could have done it
in our streets. That has nothing to do with helping Aurora, Colorado, bro.
I agree.
I think could have done it, but they gave
I think that's the problem. I think Marcus is getting ready to come off the mic, and I'm gonna throw it back to him. Sherm, I agree. I think my issue though is that 40 years ago that wasn't the case. It's just that that's the case now. So we got so many problems as in so many different areas. Like what Kenny is going through in New York, it's like, damn, I want to be concerned, but I got shit going on in here in LA. And then what Trev got going on and what Hink got going on, what Lewis got going on in their areas, I want to be concerned, but shit, we got to get our shit together over here on the West Coast. And then we got our beefs, fuck East Coast, West Coast. You know what I'm saying? Drill versus, fucking, it's so many different breakups, and we're so divided in so much shit. It's hard to be concerned with what's happening in Aurora because what the hell is going on in Nickerson Gardens?
Right.
And we got to worry about Nickerson Gardens out here, or we got to worry about the Dons, or we got, it's so much shit that we got to deal with out here. But that shouldn't be the case. Now, Marcus, what you got to say?
So I was gonna say two things. One, so I don't know if people are familiar with how gang culture really got started, but it was an offshoot of black empowerment movements. Most gangs came from that, and they were national movements that were interconnected. And then guess what? The government jumped in, created all of these fucking things to fuck people up and get them locked up, and then introduced a whole lot of bullshit that led to the drug wars and all of this other shit, right? And even still, even amongst the drug shit, they were international, well, what is it, national gang. So it's a branch of GDs in Texas and Mississippi, Alabama. It's all over, and these places are interconnected. So I'm saying it's not true that we couldn't have somebody like go take the building back over in Colorado. The issue is they arrest us and charge us with RICOs for trying to organize shit like that. But y'all nationwide drop these people who have their own gang structures in the different neighborhoods and letting them do what they want. That's crazy to me. I'm even of the mind, if y'all gonna say fuck it, there's no laws, I'm fine with no laws, none whatsoever. You get it how you live, and smoke or be smoked. I would be fine with
just
that.
purge.
But y'all can't just y'all can't
be the purge.
Y'all can't
They
sit on
tried
us.
that in Seattle. Remember that they tried that in Seattle in 2020. You see what happened then. Go ahead, Marcus.
I'm saying, but they can't sit on top of us, lock us up for everything, and then let these motherfuckers run wild. All while bringing them in by finessing the black vote from a woman that's not even black, that's convincing black women that she got their best interest at heart, that's gonna fuck around and replace them as a voting block. The only thing they're gonna get about this shit is student loan forgiveness one time, one generation of student loan forgiveness, some small business funding, and then you will be replaced as a fucking voting block, hoping that they remember that you helped them eliminate themselves by bringing in 30 million motherfucking new voting blocks. This shit crazy as hell. This crazy. Look, is Trump fucked up? Yep. Is he a racist? Yep. I hope he racist enough to deport all the motherfuckers that is over here that shouldn't be here. I'm damn near banking on it. If
Marcus
he not
is
that
getting
racist,
more red pill every week. Marcus is coming around. He's gonna be on the dark side. We're gonna have to give him a red lightsaber soon, JR.
You know what's the ill part about it? He made it sound so glowingly that when the Hispanics acted up, they were able to click up and be in unity regarding something like that. But without that catalyst, they can't be in unity just day to day. So you sound like a hypocrite. You understand? You out there doing and glorifying the very thing that you would get arrested for.
Nigga, who the fuck is you talking
because there's not a fair equivalence.
Who the fuck is you even talking to? You sound like, nigga, shut the fuck up. I'm talking about what I'm talking about. I don't got to be no fucking hypocrite and all these other things. I'm talking about what I'm talking about. You can keep all the ad hominems and extra shit to your motherfucking self, Joe. All of that shit. We can have a respectful conversation because I'm not disrespecting.
So which part about what I said was disrespectful to you? That you
calling me a hypocrite and all this other shit. I ain't saying no shots at you and none of that shit. I'm talking about my personal observation and how I personally feel about
it. Let's walk it back. Let's walk it back as for the example that I gave and the thing you were glorifying.
I didn't glorify anything.
What did I say that was wrong?
What did I glorify?
You said when the Hispanics acted up, Lord nodded his head about when one tried to throw some object through some female's window or something, y'all all got clicked up and aired it out, came down there and aired it out.
I didn't say I aired anything.
That was an example of unity.
And that was a fact of life. That wasn't a glorification. That was to disprove that this does not happen or people don't click up. It's a fact that they clicked up.
Okay, so you gave a case in. Okay, Marcus, hold on. You gave a case in point where people who didn't agree, they clicked up and found unity regarding a certain injustice within your neighborhood. Yes or no?
Correct.
And I challenged that because you spoke glowingly of it. Why y'all just can't do that on the regular? And then I got barraged with a whole bunch of disrespect by the Jolly Green Giant because he didn't like that spoonful of bitters that I was giving him, which was actually true if he took the time to parse it through.
Man,
which part about it?
Kenny, let me ask you this question. Because I'm curious. Okay, so Marcus used an example of where injustice happened. Black people got together, whether they're GDs or not, and got together and took action in their own hands because they didn't want to wait for the government. And you said that was his glorification. What was the antithesis to that? What did he say that he doesn't like about that when it came to the other side? I just want to be clear.
Okay, so he gave an example, a negative one, where they could come together toward a progressive movement as for protecting a certain thing. But yet and still, if you took that factor out of it, they would go back to being arch enemies, where you can't cross a certain block. But you spoke glowingly about that. But there couldn't be the same thing if there wasn't a catalyst to make y'all unite. You had to find something negative to make y'all unite. There couldn't be nothing optimistic within it so that you wouldn't have to need something for y'all to get together and be negative.
So Kenny, but that kind of goes back to us being the United States, right? We may bicker amongst ourselves about our differences, but when there's an outside threat, we come together, right? Under one nation, right? It's the same thing. I went to a high school. Listen, I went to a high school that was predominantly Black and then about 40% Hispanic and then other, right? We might have bickered amongst ourselves. Shout out Curie High School, you did, you know what I'm saying? But we might have bickered amongst ourselves. But when it came time to, we had multiple race wars, right? At that point, that's when you would link up. You know why? Because you had a common enemy. It happens. It's human. It's the human way. You know what I mean? That's why the United States, we all won when it comes to war. You know what I'm saying? When we have an outside threat, we all won, right or wrong.
Okay.
Right or wrong?
I would say,
right or wrong is what I'm asking.
You allow me to answer you or force
it? Right or wrong? Is that right or is that wrong? Is what I'm asking.
Are you going to allow me to answer you, or you wish to detail how I answer you?
No, answer it like you want to answer it, Kenny. We're curious. Go ahead.
Correct. We find a false sense of unity, like 9/11, which I played a part of. First responder, Bucket Brigade, first day, help dig up bodies and do certain things. I still could remember that smell. I still have my World Trade Center screening every year to make sure I don't have any carcinogens, cancer, spores that pop up in me, because I've seen a lot of people that I was elbow to elbow die. So when I hear ignorance at its highest point and you speak reverently before the podcast gets on, and then you speak it now, and I know you're part of the problem, and you speak so reverently about everything else, but you don't look in the mirror, and then I call you on it, I'm all type of MFs and this and that. And I have criminal record. I still haven't expunged my felonies. But guess what I did? I stopped being part of the problem. I started being part of the solution, so I could say that. I bear scars.
Wait. You try. You try to say.
Go ahead.
So your thing is, you have some belief that because I got into an altercation that you were referencing offline, online, that I'm a hypocrite because I don't want them here doing the same thing. Is that what you're saying?
No, I gave my point of reference for the hypocritical saying. I attacked the argument, not the person. Okay, you don't want to hear it, so you're quick to respond.
Can you shorten it up? Because I kind of lost you. You was talking about bitters and giants and all type of shit. I don't know what you were saying.
Okay,
can you shorten it up so I know exactly what you're talking about?
So that means me elaborating further. You didn't take the time to listen intently. As for when I slowed it down, I took you disrespected.
Okay, just tell me.
I walked it back.
All right, we got some more topics to get to, y'all. We could put this on the back end.
Well, just let me throw this out here real quick, JR, before we move on. Kenny, I did not hear Marcus support, glorify, praise gangbanging.
Not at all.
I did not hear No, hear me out. Hear me out. I get you. He said we come together when it comes to something outside, but then we have these bickerings and the GDs go back to fighting the whoever GDs fight in Chicago, and we go back. But I didn't hear Kenny even mention that one, and I didn't hear him glorify if that's what they did too. But I think you attributed that to Kenny. I'm sorry, to Marcus, mainly because Marcus is hearkening back to his old days that maybe he was involved in that, but he didn't advocate or promote it or talk positively about it whatsoever. And in fact, by him not doing that, it just meant that he kept it on topic. And I think Marcus was just keeping it on topic. That's how I took it. I don't know how everybody else took it.
I can't tell you how to take it. When I lock in, I'm listening for just more than what you say. Words do matter in tone, and how tone comes across as for how someone sounds. I pick up pitch and listen to how you talk. And I heard what I heard, and I'm not walking it back because I know what I heard.
Well, I understand. And what you're saying is that that's what he implied. But again, like you asked me earlier, more investigation is necessary, and you didn't do any in this case. Instead, you just took what it sounded like in his tone and just and gave and attributed a position of his without asking him specifically to be clear.
Okay,
so
I'll give you.
Technically, you're being hypocritical because you.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
Well, you can't give it to me. It is what I don't like when people give me stuff. It's the truth or it's not. So my thing is, let's move on. But I just want you to be clear that that's not what you did. Yet that's what you said you would do when I was talking about women. You said, "Do you have to add? We have to investigate. We got to ask more questions to find out if people is lying."
Actually, I did. Before you do that, this is not just him saying that today. I keep my memory banks. That's for things that were said before.
Oh, okay.
I'm not just making. I'm not just making a flip of the coin today.
All right,
you never see me do that, Shannon.
Let's do that. It's getting late.
Wait. We got to move on to the next topic, y'all. We can come back to this on the back end. I'm gonna get to some of you guys. Let me just transition. I get to Hank, Trev, Luis, Sherm, Sweeney. Doug Will says, salute the King Talk. Member for 30 months. Salute to you, sir. And Doug Will 999 says, Marcus is right. It doesn't have to be apples to apples. Illegal activity has a proportional punishment by law. Citizens don't get rewarded for committing crimes. Thank you for that, Doug Will. Moving on. We had a story that I broke not too long ago of a woman hits Myron from Fresh and Fit in a restaurant. So we'll go ahead and play a little bit of this.
All right. She just confronted us saying that we were lying and that she's going to sue us because we said, yo, she shoved Fresh, which she did.
You're saying
now, yeah, she did shove him.
You're saying I assaulted
So now at this point, she's coming and confronting us. Yo, this is comedy, bro. This is comedy. Because we got to protect them.
All right, just a little backstory. So this young lady was on Fresh and Fit, and she was kicked off. And I guess Myron, and that was at a restaurant. She came across them, so she decided to approach them. What I'm about to show you guys right now is the clip of when she got kicked off. And then we'll see the rest of what turned out at that restaurant.
Yep, sure. And just so you know, your Instagram is going to be removed from the description box for disrespecting the platform. Here you go. Okay, well, you can have your calling outside. Elevators to the left, hit 1, it'll bring you downstairs. Oh, I'm videotaping you. I'm videotaping you. Yep. See, you guys saw that? She just grabbed my property.
Okay, weirdo ass.
Yep. That's battery. You do realize that, right? That's assault battery.
Oh, really? Just like my shove, right? Where that?
Yeah, you shoved him.
You're literally accusing someone of assault.
You did it.
You did.
You shoved him.
No, I
You did shove him.
You're lying ass.
Okay, you shoved him. You shoved him.
You guys are mad because
You shoved him.
mad money off this content.
Yeah, we made a lot of money off it. You look even funnier right now. We're making money off it. And you look foolish.
For money.
Yep.
You humiliate bitches for money and
This
are
is funny.
condescending and gaslighting us.
Oh yeah? We're gaslighting.
Buy another watch.
Yeah, buy another watch off of her, bro.
Thank you.
Buy another rollie off of
I
her.
don't have a rollie off a good,
Hey.
off a solid fucking true living. Like you're literally.
Okay, well, hey, no. You make your decisions. You got to live with them. You make your decisions. Now you got to live with them.
Besides the social media.
You shoved him.
I didn't shove nobody.
Yes, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
Where's the proof?
Hey, we got witnesses.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
you shoved him.
Witnesses.
You shoved him. You shoved him. No, she did shove him.
And there's camera footage.
Oh, that's hilarious. Comedy. Comedy.
There's camera footage. There's camera footage in the panorama hallway.
At this point, you're harassing us, which this is hilarious now.
Right? When you left, I showed you.
Yo, you do realize this is gonna go on Patreon. We're gonna make more money off you, right?
Let's get it. Wait, I have one thing to say.
Why don't? First of all, right? Why did I make that up?
Because you're making it up. bro.
Why?
For clout. For clout. That's
For
what
clout?
you do. You guys do
Bro,
it for clout.
we're clouded. We don't even know who you are, bro. We don't know who you are. What? Yeah, oh, okay. People don't know who we are.
Maybe you didn't know on purpose, but you were like
Okay.
this.
Okay, now he is.
Yeah.
That I watched the whole
You did.
podcast. She did.
Listen, we don't really care about your opinion. We don't really care.
I'd like to come on camera footage and debate you like about it.
Listen, at this point, I'm more concerned with capturing this ridiculousness than talking to you about a future show. Okay?
I just wanted to tell you.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Hit up Aaron Poxton and see if he wants to come. If he wants to let you on the show. Hit up our producer. But right now, I'm capturing this. Guys, you see this? Yo, you guys see this?
Out of my way.
We're having dinner, and she comes up, and she's literally confronting him. This is comedy. No, this is comedy, bro. This is comedy. No, we're making money off you. You look stupid right now. This is hilarious. You're on 4K looking foolish. Oh yeah. Come hit me. Yeah. You look dumb now. Stupid.
All right.
They know what tree to bark up.
Right.
Sure do, man. Let me go ahead and get Trev in there, man. And get Sherm and Hink in there. Go ahead.
I wish we had a little more context as to what was really happening, like what led up to that situation. I mean, as far as what we could see from how he handled it. I mean, what led up to that, right? So either way, females a lot of times they'll get away with violence. They don't really see the consequences from violence. They can go up, they can push you. She definitely smacked the phone out of his hand. All of that is, if he were to do that to her, then sure, there would be consequences. He'd probably be locked up. The only thing that I didn't really like what they were doing, it seemed like he was kind of promoting, and I understand his content, but damn, why continue to gaslight, right? With females, it's not a thing where, as a man, you really should go back and forth like that. What are you fishing for? Like you pointing at her, that's disrespectful. You got your finger in somebody's face, you pointing at him, and he's gassing up. He already knows that she's emotional right now. She's going to have an emotional response. What are you fishing for? What outcome are you looking for? What are you waiting to happen? Right? Are you fishing for a viral moment? You want her to turn up on you, so now you can post it on your Patreon, get viral clips, and it'll come back to more views. So I get it, but I mean, that ain't my cup of tea. A lot of us, we could do that with our content and just start doing crazy stuff and blow up. But do we really want to do it that way? No. Right? But he's okay with that. So if he like it, I love it, man. That's what he want to do. And as you can see, there were other females knowing how the show turns out, still wanting to get on there right now. They're over here putting in a bid to get on the future show while he's arguing with somebody from the show. So it just goes to show you, toxicity works. So, I mean, I get it. When you're on the internet and that's the easiest way to get your money up, go ahead and do it. But to me, at this point, what I've seen is it's been a lot of the same arguments over and over. They kick somebody out, they go viral. It's a constant cycle. Has anything constructive really gotten out of it? Are any of those ladies leaving with the message? Sometimes, but not usually. They come in. Most of these females aren't reachable. You're not going to be able to change their mind within a few hours of talking to them and beating them in the head and telling them how much they suck and how much better men are, right? I think there's a different approach to it if we actually want to communicate with the females effectively, right? If you want them to listen to you, then that's probably not the way to go about it. But I would question if that's even really their motive.
All right. Let me go ahead and get Ink in there, brother. What are your thoughts about what you were just saying?
Yeah, that was bad, man. But unfortunately, you have women like that who carry on like that, whether it's because she's intoxicated, under influence, or whatever the case may be. But you got to protect yourself. You have to, regardless of what they're doing for. But she knew, more likely he's gonna pull his camera out and use it for content because they already previously done before. So she already know what the deal was. She just want to continue to try to confront him and have maybe have a moment for herself, for like, she was able to get back at fresh and fit for all the women who they previously upset, kicked off, did wrong, mistreated them. So she wanted to be the mortar, I guess, to say, "Hey, look what I did to him," but it doesn't realize it on the back end. She looks bad. It's foolish. She's young though. You can tell she's young and does silly shit. She don't know no better. I mean, and another thing is, certain dudes you can't run up on like it, ladies. Certain dudes gonna certain dudes gonna crown your ass. Now, them dudes ain't gonna do shit. They just gonna record, make jokes out of it, and put it on the show and highlight and do all that. But it may be another dude that may lay hands on you, and the situation's not gonna end the way you want it to end. So I definitely would encourage a woman to do some shit like that. Yeah, it's not worth it at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead, Sharon.
I mean, when it comes to like foolishness and folly like this, bro, I really just don't really even give it any thought or energy. But because just like Trev said, it's like, the angle of it, it's toxicity. You know what I'm saying? It's like premeditated drama or watching a scripted reality show. You know what I mean? It's like, those guys are there to rev women up, amp them up, get them to act out, say disrespectful things, disrespect them, and they're provocative. You know what I'm saying? So I don't even know, what they said to make her act like that. I kind of know, like me, or the majority of men on this panel probably have never had a woman come at them like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's probably because of the way they hold themselves, the way they carry themselves, the way they talk to women. They don't talk down on women. You're not going to act like this or like that. Like, if a woman acted like that towards me, it would damn near scare me. I'll be like, what the fuck? Like, she must be out of her mind to come at me like that. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not even on that type of dramatic time. If I was them, I'll just walk away like, hey, look, just go ahead and go about your business. Me personally, I don't argue with women. I don't provoke women. I will turn down that shit so fast and be like, hey, look, call your boyfriend up here or something, but I'm not about to go back and forth with you or do none of this catty shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the type of time I'm on, And so when I look at stuff like this, I'm like, bro, that's just some old sucker, premeditated drama, toxicity shit that they use to get views, to sell people. That girl was tripping. Then you're gonna pull out the camera, start recording her and saying all of this stuff so you could post it on social media. It's like, first of all, I can't even see myself even doing anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Ever, like nothing ever will make me pull out my phone and record a woman tripping so I could put her on social media. You know what I'm saying? So, it's like, it's just a bunch of this bullshit in that kind of creates content that I'm not really about or for or stand for. You know what I mean? Like, just like Law, he has a podcast. He talks to women from all walks of life, bunch of episodes. I have never witnessed anything like that. You know what I'm saying? Or a woman getting in his face or him having to kick a woman out or anything like that. And these girls from, I don't know what part of Chicago or whatever, but they in the shot. You know what I'm saying? They probably live, more hood lives than the girl we just seen. You know what I'm saying? So it all boils down to how a man carries himself in front of women that'll make women respond in that type of way.
Man, I'm looking forward to hearing your take when it comes to this leadership.
I don't think that's necessarily true, bro. Anytime somebody has ever said anything that women don't like, women have reacted a number of ways to it. no matter the person. It doesn't matter if they as cool and calm as collected as what's the old boy name? The No Fugazi podcast, Kevin Samuels, or somebody as volatile as Fresh and Fit. When they don't like what you're saying, they react negatively. Because I'm not one. I've had women. Granted, I don't experience these women in real life, but I've had plenty of women on this panel just because I said something that they didn't like, or I've disagreed with them or challenged them on a thought. They got real ignorant, and it didn't take much. So I don't think it matters whether you are a man that don't argue with women or try not to, or whatever that means. Once you start saying shit that they don't like, they're gonna find a way to talk shit about you, say something, poke the bear, call your mama a bitch, whatever, just because you're not saying anything that they align with. And sometimes some people can get away with saying just enough to be able to, but then there's people that push the envelope. People like Fresh and Fit say a whole lot of shit that women don't like. And they literally purposely go on his podcast to challenge him. Some of them, a lot of them go on there to be seen, but a lot of them go on there just to challenge them on their thoughts and talk shit.
I agree with that part, but my thing is like the whole basis of what they're doing is not genuine, confrontation. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna say that like everything that you say is supposed to appease a woman. Like, bro, trust me, I already know that part. I'm saying the whole basis for them is to provoke a woman or say shit to get them to react that way.
How did they provoke her if they ran into her at the restaurant and she just ran up on them?
What?
They just was at the restaurant eating and she just saw them and ran up on them.
Wasn't they just in an apartment?
No, that wasn't when they was on the show. They were having I'm guessing how this normally goes is they're having a back and forth and then they kick them off the show. The restaurant was later on when she caught them in traffic and ran up on them in the restaurant. That's from what I gather. I never actually saw that, but from what I gather, it sounded like they kicked them off the show, kicked her off the show. She caught him in traffic and confronted him.
She pulled up on him.
Yeah, so they was out and about and they seen that they was in the same restaurant or either walked into the restaurant and so she confronted him. So
that was the same night, by the way.
It was the same night?
That was the same night.
Yeah.
So
she had the same shit on.
Sherm, they had her on as a guest on their nightly podcast. She got unruly on the podcast. They kicked her out of the apartment and finished the show. Later on, late at night, they went to go have dinner and the chick pulled up on them.
I wonder what the hell was said for her to get kicked off the show.
Well, I mean, but Sherm, that doesn't really matter. I mean, like, case in point to Sweeney, what he just said. At times, we're going to say things that either rub people the wrong way or it's going to get misconstrued or they're going to get into their feelings. Nobody can get you mad without your permission. You know what I'm saying? If you're giving that person that much power to allow them to get you out of your body, then you really need to sit back and reevaluate. And sort of I go back and I kind of pointed what Hink had mentioned. He's like, yeah, they're young, but let's be realistic. They may be young, but there are older women who are doing the same exact thing, who are behaving in the same exact manner, right? Let's not make this just a young versus much older. We're talking about a universal behavior that we have been seeing on the full display for the last how many years that the social media universe has taken over. The only difference is now is that we see it in 4K. And we can share it to our friends and family and things of that nature.
Yeah, but with that being said, bro, people do this purposely to sell content, bro, or to get viewers. That's it's all fugazi.
No, but I'm gonna address that last point and I'm gonna land. I agree. I agree and I disagree. I agree with the portion of recording them in order to put that on social media and stuff like that. I agree with that. I think that's a little bit lame, but obviously they're in a completely different lane and a completely different stream of income in terms of their content and the platform that they have. I applaud individuals to recording people who are mischievous and behave in a particular type of manner, not to put it on social media. It's because we live in a very split culture where it's believe all women, right? And at times you need video evidence and you need, other people around you in order to say, hey, the following set of events took place as stated. And if somebody comes with you with a differing opposing statement, then, well, here's the video, here's the audio, right? Unfortunately, I say this. In the back of the dollar bill, it says, in God we trust, everybody else brings receipt.
Yeah.
Agreed. That's something I want to kind of touch on with that. Yeah, I have interviewed tons of women, right? I almost had to kick somebody off the show, and she wasn't even on the show. She was in the audience. You know what I mean? Because she couldn't get it that you are not on the show. You can't talk over me on my show and you sitting off to the side. I had to tell her multiple times, yo, quiet, like be quiet. Then I turned to the girl that brought her and I'm like, yo, you know how I am. She gonna be leaving in a second. You know what I mean? And she told her to pipe down because it gets to that point. And one thing that I've also noticed with doing the show, we go through this whole thing in the beginning of the show. We let them know, listen, we don't take down any videos. We're not going to edit out anything that you said. We're not going to, what you see is what you get. So if you say something on the show, stand on it because those comments going to get in your ass if you look crazy. One thing that they do is they don't understand how ridiculous they're making themselves look if they say something that sounds crazy, if they're not able to correctly, get their point across, then they review it back. And now we get all the you this and this and why you ain't, I don't like how y'all made me look on the show and so on and so forth. And then they get volatile because they feel like they can say anything sometimes. They're just like these dudes saw. They'll do whatever they want to because they know there's no real threat to them. So I don't mind him recording. I think that's more for their own safety because if you take a swing on me, somebody better be recording because I'm not gonna hit you, but I might twist your arm up as soon as it come by me. You know what I mean? I'm trying to tell you. So yeah, keep your hands to yourself. Don't come with all that kind of energy because you can't choose how somebody's going to react. Those brothers might have recorded you. Somebody else might have knocked your head across the room.
And I think, like I said, it's different when we're dealing with these podcasts because there hasn't been a podcast I've seen that has been male centered that has had women on there and things always go well. Because when they're male centered, and especially when men challenge women, because the reality is when they come into these spaces, you're going to be challenged on the shit that you say. Whether you talk about the man in your life, whether you talk, I've seen women get challenged when they try to pray to be the best woman on the planet, and men start to dive into that and be like, wait, hold on, well, what does that mean? And expect, like, when you make it personal to them, when you don't make it personal to them, when you dismiss them, when, like, I've seen dudes across the board get all types of shit from women. And it could be, I've seen it happen to Trev, where he said, look, I'm just not going to talk to you no more. Who the fuck you think you are that you ain't going to talk to me? I've seen it happen to Marcus. Well, not really Marcus, because Marcus like to tell the ladies what they want to hear. He tell them what they want to hear.
Yeah, sweetie.
I've seen him get it. I've seen Shannon get it. I've seen JR get it. Well, JR don't talk all that much. Yeah, Shannon, it came at you a couple times where it may not have been.
Always get it from the niggas, Wayne.
But
it's always men.
But anytime you start to say it, and let's keep it a bean. This is what people in general. When you start to say shit that you start to challenge people's worldviews and how they think about things, and you say things that they don't like, they're gonna get with you. And these ladies are no different. But the reality is that when we in these spaces, it's debates and conversations, all that shit wrapped up in one. So I don't agree. I go at a woman just as hard as I go at a guy on these panels. Why? Because we all on here exchanging thoughts. And if you come up here and you say some shit, and it's some wild shit, expect it to be challenged. I don't treat any lady no different than when I was going at Kenny last week. I don't treat anybody no different than how I went at Marcus or Hink or, you know what I mean? Everybody, I'm an equal opportunity here. But what happens is they come into these spaces and they think, oh, I need you to treat me differently. I need you to let me just speak my shit and don't say nothing about it. And that's just not how we operate.
Stop raising your voice at me.
Yeah. And the thing
Right,
is, the crazy thing is that men debate all the time. We argue all the time. Most of the most popular shows amongst men are all debate shows. Sports, when we talk politics, everything. Most of the most popular things that men watch are all debate related. Niggas on TV arguing. So when y'all enter into these spaces, be prepared to be challenged on your shit, because that's what we do. We don't let nobody on these panels let shit slide, especially Kenny. Kenny don't let shit slide. Hold on, let me go ahead and parse that out for you real quick. All the time. Shannon be sliding in on the back end, don't let shit slide, but he'll let you talk for about a half an hour before he has to say something. But like, that's the nature of what we do on here. So when ladies jump in, expect to get treated the same way. I'm not treating you no different. I'm gonna go back and forth with you the same way I go back and forth with everybody else.
All right. I'll go ahead and put that one to bed unless somebody else wanted to add something really quickly.
Yeah, let me add something. Because I have a feeling that a lot of people don't like what Fresh and them did in Myron. Listen, King, look, this is King Talk, right? We've been doing this show for 2.5 years. We started this show in the third quarter of 2021. We are going on 3 years since we started this show. And this show was designed to help young princes become kings and to help kings straighten their crown. Gentlemen, Law, the brother sitting next to me, said we need to bring shame. Do we want to bring shame back or not? Do we want accountability or not? Why do men have to be the bigger person to women that we are not responsible for? Why is that just expected? Why should men allow unruly women to get away with shit that we would not allow another man to get away with? We just played Pop the Balloon video in a previous episode, maybe 2 weeks back, where a chick smacked the guy's hand and she almost got knocked out of her shoes. This video, was it for content? Yes. Okay, granted. They want to go viral. He said he's going to put it in his Patreon. I get it. But it's also a teachable moment, this video. And he has young men watching and learning how to move in the world. And he has young women watching who need to learn how to move in the world. There are millions of men, and remember, I'm a male advocate, living in psychological prison because he's just supposed to take it from women. We just played a video where, like, I think Sweeney brought it up, a chick threw water on the Fugazi guy. The reality is this, and this is why I liked what I saw. She was on his TV. She was on their show, on their podcast. For whatever reason, she was removed from their podcast and kicked out of the apartment or out of the studio, wherever they were. She pulled up on them while they were eating dinner. I looked at his plate. Half his pasta was gone. She got unruly with them. I believe that men, kings, I'm talking to you, tell women they are wrong when they are. No more princess treatment, because it's not working out for men or women. It's not helping our relationships, and it's giving people a false sense of bravado.
So Shannon, real quick, could I ask you?
Be unapologetic when you tell them. Don't be nice. Don't sugarcoat it. Don't give them a cotton candy when you telling it to them, because you might save a life when you tell them this. It may be hard for you to do it. It's because remember, Big Mama never wrong. And your little sisters, she could call on her cousins and her brother to come fight her battles for her that she started, that she was wrong about. Now you in prison for murder and somebody else's son is dead, and she goes on to live the life of ruining other motherfuckers' lives another day. Believe all women? Amber Heard, anybody? Jonathan Majors, anybody? You can't
Hey,
even
that
run.
was a bar. Amber Heard, anybody?
You can't even run from them on camera, and you still get convicted of 3rd-degree assault. So all I'm saying is, if accountability is like kryptonite to them, then make sure that the ones that's in your lives, the women, the little sisters, your daughters, your niece, is immune to that kryptonite, and they need to learn sometimes to show. Because if he wasn't recording, she almost wanted to pop him again. I believe that Fresh is like, yeah, you did. You hit me with the elbow. Oh no, I didn't do that. There's cameras. Yeah. Be unapologetic when you checking people, man. And like my man Law said, bring shame back. It's important because that's the only way a lot of people is going to get course corrected.
Go ahead, Trey. You want to ask him something?
Yeah, I was just going to say, would you have handled it the exact same way if you were in that predicament?
Yep. I certainly would have. I would have kept my hands to myself. And while I'm eating if I pulled up on Jay, I'll be in Texas next month for the Black Manosphere Conclave. I'm going to probably chase down JR, go have lunch with him or have breakfast. If somebody pulls up on me while I'm eating, a woman pulls up on me and she's mad at me for whatever reason, that wouldn't happen because ain't nobody mad at me right now. But if it happened, since you're saying this what if hypothetical scenario, yes, she needs to learn, keep your hands to yourself or don't come fuck with me. Stay out of my space. Don't come push JR while he's eating his pasta, and don't get mad at me because I'm recording you and jump like you're going to do something to me. Yes, I know I could whoop your ass up and down this restaurant. I'm not going to do that unless you really want me to, but I'm not going to do that. But you also need to know that what you're doing is wrong because ain't nobody ever told you. That's as ghetto as I can say that, right? Nobody has ever told you that before. So let me be the one to inform you that what you're doing is bad behavior and you're unruly and it won't be tolerated by men anymore.
Also, I think to also kind of further push down on Trev's question, I think also what he was asking is like, would you have recorded it and say, I'm about to post this online and make money off of you? Well, when you challenge me, yeah. If you sat there and say you only do this because you think you're gonna make some money off of me, you only doing this for clout. I can show you better than I can tell you. Yep, you goddamn right. I'm about to put you online and make a shit ton of money off your ass while you sitting up in this restaurant acting a damn fool. Because that's what she did. She said, oh, you only doing this for clout. You just doing it because you think you're gonna make some money off me. I sure will. Now what? Now you sitting on this restaurant looking crazy and you about to get put online in my Patreon and I'm about to make a bunch of Patreon money off your ignorant ass.
But I feel y'all, but everybody just moved different. You know what I'm saying? Because if we talking king talk, I'll tell my princess, you shouldn't be having a woman like that in your vicinity or dealing with a woman like that, period, point blank. You know what I'm saying? Because she doesn't belong in a princess or a king's presence. You know what I mean? Like you got to distance yourself from people like that. And then you can't go around thinking that you're going to save every unruly woman. Some women are scorned. Some women belong where they at. You know, you got to keep the real ones around you or else you're going to be bickering and fighting and lower yourself down to their level and start acting like the women. You know what
do you do with Sherm when she breaks in your castle and starts acting that way?
She just probably gonna have to deal with the consequences, bro. Because
what are those consequences?
I'm protecting myself by any means necessary from any human being.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Period.
Hold on, wait a minute. So
any human being, bro. I got kids. I got people that rely on me. So any unruly human being, no matter what the sex is, age, whatever, bro, has the capabilities to kill you or take you out.
Well, sure, I got that. But what I was saying though is this is more of a joke than anything. So you mean to tell me that you by any means necessary, that means that she could possibly catch these hands or this bullet, but you draw the line at arguing with her and recording her?
Nah, bro, because I wouldn't argue with a woman. No, like I'm not doing that. But if you like threaten my life or whatever, bro, yeah, you might get knocked the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Period. Like I know men that have died by getting stabbed by these women, bro. Like this shit ain't a game, you know. I know this person, like people that I know, like family members got killed over women doing stuff to them that were unruly. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I don't play those type of games with anybody. You know, I'm not gonna be like, oh, a woman has a knife, I should just you got to protect yourself by any means. You know what I'm saying? But I wouldn't lower my standards as a man bickering with somebody that I know is crazy, unruly, scorned, or whatever. Like, I don't even have time for that. I'm not gonna stoop down to your level because I'm a king. You ain't gonna see Barack Obama on the street going back and forth with a chick on the south side of Chicago. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not gonna happen.
You went back and forth with Trump.
No,
and that's what I mean. Sure, you admitted that you have never experienced a woman like this. So I granted that maybe you just are you haven't been put in the position of somebody pulling up on you while you're peacefully eating dinner with your homie or your wife or your guard or your friends or whatever, and somebody just goes off on you. I get it. You haven't experienced that, but we can't say that Barack wouldn't do that. We can't say that I'm simply saying that I ain't saying that you need to go off and haul off and knock her head off, but I'm also saying that you can't allow unruly people to be unruly simply because you the man, because that behavior or taking that stance is going to empower and embolden people to think that they can do that to anybody. And what's going to happen is she's going to do that to somebody that ain't as cool and calm as you. She's going to do that to the wrong dude.
You let an unruly woman on your podcast, on your platform, into your.
But you don't know that, cuz. Sherm, you don't know that. Listen. I'm gonna keep it real. I don't know half of these women. I meet them that day in person.
Yeah, but you also got to know what he's talking about.
But
he's doing these things to provoke women to get them to react a certain way. So when they react crazy or whatever, come on, bro. We talking about fresh and fit. We ain't talking about you.
Bro, I've seen the same behavior from all across the board, no matter the platform. Fresh and Fit ain't the only ones that get that reaction. And I've seen less said. It's not because I'm going to be real with you. I done been on this panel with a bunch of women, and they don't seem unruly until they get unruly. They will be kind and gentle when they first get up here. I've seen women literally come up here and say they changed just because of the nature of the show. Matter of fact, it was on Lapeef and Sunday. A woman literally got up there and said, "Oh, if you want me to be the villain, I'll be the villain." Just from the nature of the show. Was like, yeah, I'll get up here and just be like, damn, you're going to get up here and just not be yourself? You're going to get up here and just act a certain way? No, we want you to be yourself. But they would literally come up here and behave a certain way because they think that's what needs to be done. So, like, just simply going against them sometimes can get the worst out of a woman. And they come on, cute, calm, collected, act nice, smile in your face, and then you say something wrong or something that they don't like, and next thing you know, they calling you bitches, your mama a bitch, you a hoe, and your little dick bastard, and everything under the sun.
What was said that they didn't like?
Bro, it could be anything from women are hypergamous in nature to women would do you wrong and only come after you for your money, and they will sit there and go off because they think that you're talking about them personally. A lot of the time,
those are two triggering statements, bro.
What is that?
Did you notice that?
It can be, but why is it triggering to them if it's not you?
Yeah, but it's still triggering, bro.
Even if it was.
Like, men get triggered too based off of certain things. But you can't say just because you're not triggered that the next person will not be. You know what I mean? That's like a woman saying, oh man, niggas ain't shit. You looking like, what? No, I'll do this, I'll do that. I'll take care of my business, and you start tripping. But she's talking from her perspective. But you know what I'm saying? That shit's still triggered. You know what I mean?
But the thing is that we say things that are triggering. Sometimes the truth is triggering. Sometimes saying that, hey, most of y'all
subjective, bro. But I feel what you're saying.
Like some things like this, you're never gonna say something that everybody agrees with. The problem is how you react when you don't agree. And that's what we're just trying to tell you, is that it don't take much for a woman to turn that switch. All she has to do is not agree with what you said. And not only not agree with what you said, but if she says something to challenge you, you go back and forth with her and say, no, I think it's this. And it's complete flip of the switch.
Let me go to get this main topic in, y'all. Hope you guys transition. Men are failing at leadership. Just going around the panel. Are men failing at leadership? Yeah.
Well, intellectual discussions, some, not all goes without saying, but so when you see me nod my head, yes, I ain't talking about everybody, but yeah.
Law.
It's hard to say, because I'm keeping real. I have to remove myself from that. You know what I mean? And so my thing is, do I think personally I'm doing my part? Yeah, but I can only touch so many men. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be the example for not only friends that I know, but also family members. Like I'm the at this level, I'm basically the patriarch in my family. You know what I mean? It's up to me, and I have a very large family. So I make sure I do my part, but I do see individuals out here that don't do theirs, right? But then where do I stand? That comes where I have to kind of step up. You know what I mean? So I see it. I'm around good leaders. I keep myself around a certain type of individuals. So it's hard for me to say no, but I can see the issues coming up behind us that's creating it where, yeah, men are failing as a whole, I would say.
Okay. All right, Law with the safe answer. Go ahead, Sharm.
I mean, when it comes to leadership, it just depends on what are we defining leadership as, because the way Law said it, the way I understand his, that's my cousin. So I understand his perspective on, what he's thinking about. It's like, okay, in order for a man to be a leader, he should have a wife, he should have children, he should have men that look up to him. You know what I'm saying? He should be a provider, all of these different things. And that's what I think about when it comes to leadership. But then it's kind of hard for me to say, for other people's perspective, that a leader has to have a family, you know what I'm saying? Or a leader has to have young men looking up to them, you know what I'm saying? Because some people say they're a leader just because they handle their business. But I can't personally define a leader like that. You know what I'm saying? Because to me, it's like, okay, what legacy are you leaving behind? You know what I mean? I can't say a man was a leader because he had a good job and he had rims on 24s and all that, and he was stunting. You know what I mean? It's like, nah.
So what is a leader, Sherm? If you can't define it as that, then what do you define a leader as?
No. I'm speaking on my definition. Who are you impacting? Who's looking up to you? Who are you raising? You know what I'm saying? Who is going to look at you and be like, okay, this person is a resource? Because that's what I look at when it comes to a leader. You know what I'm saying? Who's going to be the one that's going to take the responsibility and the accountability to get us as a whole from point A to point B? You know what I'm saying? Who's going to take the hits on the chin when it comes to oh man, we fucked up. Damn, all right, you know what, man, fuck that. We're gonna get back at it. This is how we gonna do it. This is how we gonna plan it out. You know what I'm saying? So we all can eat, so we all can win. That's what I define a leader as. You know what I'm saying? So if some people are doing it, some people are not, but that's my definition of leadership.
All right, real quick. Tress, men are failing in leadership. Agree with it?
Okay, so I'm gonna just try to bring the definition up real quick. So it's of leadership, right? So it's the ability to influence, guide, and inspire people to achieve shared goals, right? So I'm gonna go by that, and I'd say that yes, many of us are failing, right? I can't include anybody on this panel because a lot of us are doing what we're supposed to do as men, and we're doing it with our families, and we take it beyond our families. But overall, there's a lot of people who lack leadership. Some of it just because they never, for one, to be a good leader, you have to first be a good follower. If you don't have a good person to follow initially, then how the hell do you learn to be a leader? And that's one of our major issues. I don't want to be too long-winded because I know you're just going in with this, but yeah, that's what I feel about it.
I appreciate that, Trail. Hank?
Yes, sir.
All right. Sweeney?
Are men failing at leadership?
Yeah.
I need a little more on that. Are you talking about as a community, as far as family is concerned?
Everything.
Let's just go by the definition.
No, I don't think so. Because I think when everybody has autonomy and the ability to do what the fuck they want to do, how do you lead somebody that can do what they want to do? You don't. When you say we all need to go right, but they have the option to go left and they can go left. You gonna keep trying to talk them into going right with you? Gonna try to convince them you're gonna let them go left and let them bump their head and flip over and deal with whatever the consequences are. Also, I don't think men are expected to be leaders today. I think it's a nice conversation. They're not expected to be. They're just expected to take on the consequences of when shit hits the fan. So they're expected to be responsible for when shit hits the fan, but they're not expected to be leaders. They just got to eat the failure.
Well, Kenny P.
And the failures nowadays. They're handcuffed. They can't do anything to keep the standards of a household anymore. You have examples of the Sexy Reds, the Glorillas. You have the alpha women that tell you that in your face. They said what I said, females. Men don't have what they used to in the past. There's a chance to grasp it back, but as long as there's division, we're going the opposite way rather than progressive. So no.
All right. And White, you there?
Yes. That's
right.
The answer, yes.
Okay. I'm going to play this clip, give a little bit more context. I just want to get a general to see if you guys think they have felons. So you're on the fence with this one, but here we go.
That y'all said, I think what you said, brother, was just so deep because I do think at the very core, I think there's a huge attack on men in our culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's an attack for us not to accept responsibilities as leaders, not to embrace that role, right? Even when I'll take it back to Genesis as well. Notice how when God created Adam in the garden, right? He created Adam in the garden, and he gave Adam the right to name all of the animals. He told him to tend over the garden, which means to work, right? And he told him not to eat from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? And he gave Adam all of those commands before he created Eve. And when he created Eve, God did not repeat these commands to Eve. Why? Because he entrusted Adam to uphold the moral integrity of his family. He looked to Adam to be the leader, not the domineering leader, not the leader that says you have to listen to me every time I say something. No, he created Adam to lead her well, right? And I think a lot of this toxic masculinity stuff that we see in our culture is giving men an excuse to not lead, giving men an excuse to point the finger at women, giving men an excuse to like be like Adam, right? And I think that's what the enemy wants. And now if the enemy can disrupt our leadership, which he's tried to do from the beginning, he's still trying to do now, right? He can disrupt the family. He can affect how we look at our sisters, and he can affect how our sisters look at us. He wants division. And so this is the reason why you have so many. I saw one woman on the internet talking about destroying the nuclear. Was it this show?
That was this show.
Oh, that was this show?
Yes.
That's crazy.
Okay, that's classic. Prince Ella versus Tim Ross.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
And I think a lot of men are escaping the way we supposed to lead with love, with Christ-like love,
That's good.
gentleness, meekness, right? And so we cannot. And you know what frustrates me? I see so many men in our culture calling women out instead of modeling what they want to see.
Facts.
Damn. Explain, bro.
It's like If you don't model humility, you cannot call a woman out on pride.
Damn.
If you don't model meekness, you can't call her out on a lack of meekness. Right? If you don't model a selflessness, why are you calling women out on being selfish? Right? If you don't model being humble with your finances, why are you calling women gold diggers? It's like we want to call out, but we don't want to model, and that's the opposite of how Christ led. Christ did not come and lead us that way. He didn't come and say stop doing this and stop doing that. No, God condescended and became a man to lead his creation and how he wanted them to live. And if men are going to be like Christ, we have to understand that we cannot be like Christ if we don't lead in the same way.
Right.
We want to lead by attacking women and not modeling what we want to see, and that's just not Christ-like.
And that's just really the opposite of how women even learn in the first place.
How we all learn.
How anybody learns. Yeah. And it's truly, I just really love the way you really broke that down, man. Because it is an attack on our leadership. And us being able to point the finger is the easiest way to measure that we just have an absolute weak culture. That's the easiest way to be a man.
Mm-hmm.
Is to just point the finger at somebody else and completely relinquish all responsibility, relieve yourself of all accountability from the situation, and just say, look, you are the problem.
Yeah. Correct.
I got one question, JR. Why don't we ever hear it from them? Why don't they ever? Because let's say for the sake of argument, they right. Because there are some men in this space that say some, you know what I mean, that call out degeneracy and all of that, but also practice degeneracy. Fair enough. Y'all aren't, so why aren't y'all calling it out? Because here's the reality of it. This is a public space. This is a platform. For the most part, all you can do is talk up here. So we can get up here and we can go for decades talking about what men needed to do. Nobody batted an eye. But then the conversation shifted. And now men are talking about what women should be doing. And if we're not saying it and they're not saying it, then who's going to say it? Because they're not saying it. That's why their podcast is safe. That's why all they get is a bunch of yeses and and all of that, because your podcast safe. You don't say anything. You don't ruffle no feathers. You don't rattle the cage. You don't say anything. You just sit back and chill and be like, yeah, you got to lead by example. And if you want to call somebody out for being a gold digger, how you going to be a gold digger yourself? Well, you're not, so why aren't you calling it out? Because I thought the whole point was that we call out the problematic people in our society. Nobody shuts up when it comes to problematic people. You don't just sit there and be like, well, they problematic over there, so we just gonna leave them to it. No, you call it out. Hey, you're being problematic. Stop doing what you're doing. You don't just, like, good people don't just go on and be good and hope that the rest of the people are gonna be good because they watching them. That's not how that works.
That's not how leading works either.
You don't just be good and then hope that everybody else is just going to be good with you. If that was the case, then what the hell do we have jails for? What the hell do we have what is it called? Starts with an R. Rehab. You bring people in and you tell them 12-step programs and shit. The first thing you do is tell them what the fuck they doing wrong in life.
So wait, leadership doesn't come with harshness?
I'm not. No, I agree
that's
with
what law said.
Say what?
Leadership doesn't come with being harsh at times.
No, I absolutely agree it does. I'm saying it. You can't not say nothing. You know what I mean? That's not leading. If you're not speaking up on it, you're not leading to me. You can lead by example. That's cool, but at some point you're gonna have to let them know exactly what it is. And I'm a big proponent of speaking up on it. You dig what I'm saying? I don't play that. I don't just only lead by example. If I see an issue, I address the issue. You know, plain and simple. That's when it comes down. When I say I know how we leading over here. You know what I mean? I know how we lead those coming up behind us. We tell them exactly what they need to hear. And some of them, whether they're going to listen to it or not, I bet you they heard it. And then I bet you can see that I'm living that way too. I'm telling you what I know from experience. I'm not telling you what I think should happen and vice versa. I'm showing you and I'm telling you. I'm teaching you. You dig? So, yeah, it definitely comes with harshness.
Yeah, because the worst thing that you could be when it comes to, you know, you speaking to someone and telling them something is a hypocrite. You know what I'm saying? So you have to lead by example, but then also tell them like it is, because they have to believe it by watching and seeing you. You know what I mean? Like a bus driver is not going to tell me how to fly a plane. You know what I mean? Be like, well, I seen it on TikTok and you know, nigga, you never flew a plane. Get the fuck out my face. You know what I'm saying?
So Sherm, would you agree? If you've been down that alley and you saw that the outcomes was just pure negatives, and you speak on, you said your anecdotal evidence, your resume of things, should you be able to be open if I was telling it to you, because you said you come up in a certain cloth, correct?
Hold on, what are you talking about? Going down what alley? You kind of lost me with that. You said if you going down the alley and what?
Did you hear me?
Yeah, I heard you. But what are you talking about?
Which part you got lost in?
No, when you said like I'm going down the alley, if I go down that alley, like what are you referencing?
Okay, where did you get lost at? Because
when you
I'm trying to figure
I'm
out.
going down that alley, what are you referencing when you say I'm going down an alley?
Well, just take it from the top, Kenny. Take it from the top.
Yeah.
All right, so here we go again. So with leadership, right?
Yeah.
From your words, the person that usually speaks at least has to have a resume or something.
Right.
So that you could be like, okay, they're not talking shit, right? And then
Correct.
from that, if they give you the pros and cons of it and they show you why they stopped this because they saw the outcomes and they progressively moved this way, would that be a message that would be one that you could consume or not?
Yeah. Well, are you talking about like they're talking about from their experience?
Yeah,
or
because
just something that they heard?
No. I gave
Or
you
like what
resume.
Uh-huh.
Resume's experience.
Right, yeah. Right. If they're
I'm
talking from their
selling-
experience, yeah.
If I'm selling you air pie and win cakes, that's me just talking out my butt, right? No. But then if I show you that this is the way I went and this is my progression, and then I hold you to that standard with harshness, showing leadership. I challenge you to be better rather than just harp on something and you get called on it. Would that be an acceptable thing that you could digest and build upon?
I mean, it could be something I could understand. I'm not sure if I could build upon it though.
But there's a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, it could be possible, yeah.
Okay, that's all I wanted. I digress.
Look, listen, JR. Let me with the video that you played, he mentioned something. He was wrong and right, in my personal opinion. He was wrong about Eve. I just talked about this ironically in my broadcast channel on Instagram and last week. While God himself did not repeat the tasks to Eve that he had given Adam, Adam was not called to lead Eve originally. Their original nature was as one. They originally were a union. It wasn't until Eve wanted to be exalted, Eve and Eve alone wanted to be exalted as a god. She wanted to be seen and treated as a god, as explained to her by the serpent. Her punishment was to follow Adam, since that's what she wanted to be. Oh, you want to be big and mighty? That's what she wanted. I mean, that's what she ended up having to do. So oftentimes people say, you know, Adam was put in place to lead Eve. No, he wasn't. That wasn't the case. Just that I get he put her to sleep, took the rib out, made her and all that kind of stuff. But she was not. They were a union originally, and a lot of people use that scripture incorrectly, saying that Adam was supposed to lead her. That wasn't the case. Her punishment was that she had to now follow him since she wanted to be his boss by biting that apple. He was just stupid enough to follow her in doing so. But in the military, we had this thing, man. In order to be, they kind of disbanded this program. But back in my day, in order to be a sergeant and to lead a team or a troop or a platoon, you had to go through what was called PLDC. And PLDC standard for Primary Leadership and Development Course. Every E4 had to go to PLDC in order to be an E5. You know, the leadership of a sergeant is to rally his troops, is to influence them to fight and to guide them on the right path to eventually capture the flag. That is what a leader is in the military. And when you asked me originally, before you played the video, do I believe that men are leaders today? Are men failing at leadership? And I said, yes, it's because men today, in my personal opinion, are not as stoic as they once were. They're not as stoic as they could be. Men are not about teamwork as they should be. Men are hyper individualistic. I explained that to you guys. Hyper individualism is promoted today. And so today, men are more selfish than ever. But here's the rub, ladies and gentlemen, and young kings that's watching the show. I believe all men can win and not fail at leadership. All, 100%. This is where I mean all when I say all, not the some, not all. No, I think all men can lead. Now, they have to have the right woman behind them. A lot of guys shoot for the wrong type of woman. Somebody may be out of his league, but I think that all men can. But like the brother in the video said, and like some of you brothers on the panel said, we got too much shit going against us. There's too many things that's going against men. We got women pulling up on men in restaurants, popping off and shit. You got your girl arguing with you all the time and knowing that you can't do nothing. You can't, it's nothing you can do. What is our only recourse? To walk away. There's too many things going against men these days that are, I would say, prohibiting men to become the leaders that they could be. And so now you got men, especially who don't have any kind of masculinity in his life, growing up to be super emotional in his responses. And it's hurt. You know what happens when an emotional man gets emotional? Somebody dies. There's the consent of the governed is what I talk about all the time. If you want me to be a coach, I need good players. It just is what it is. I know that the coach is typically fired first when the team is losing, but sometimes the players suck. The coach is fine. The players aren't calling the plays that they hear in the radio. They out there on the field doing their own thing, and there's no recourse. All it is, well, you know what? You're supposed to be able to get them in line. Dog, how can I get them in line if they don't want to do what the fuck I'm telling them to do so we can win this game? Well, I don't believe in your coach. I don't believe in your plays. I didn't think that we needed to do. I had to call an audible while I was out there. Well, I don't want to run that play. I don't like the play that you called. All we got now is to get rid of that. But then what's happening is a lot of guys is being said, oh, man, you suck as a coach. You suck as a leader. You ain't no good leader. And it's like, no, I could be a good leader. I just need some good players. But now you got so many players that feel that they don't need to be coached. You got a lot of players out there that's out there running the game of life that don't think they need to be led whatsoever. But they claim they want one. They say it on the internet. They say it all throughout, everywhere you look, they saying that they want a leader, but who evaluates the good leader? They do. And that's the consent of the governed problem that we're having, because if you feel that what I'm telling you to do ain't what you're supposed to do, you're going to say that I can't lead well, even though the advice I'm giving you will help you and we will win the game. But because you don't like the play I called, you ain't going to run it. And that's the problem. A lot of our tools to be good leaders are being stripped from men. And then you got men that's growing up emotional as a motherfucker. And so they're not even learning how to find good players. That's one of my issues. My issue is I typically pick the wrong damn players. Man, I got a bad woman picker. I'm just bad at it, man. I just am. And I have a long history of picking bad women. I have and I just, because I just don't know what to look for, or historically haven't known what to look for. And that's a problem that I have, because when I first see a red flag, I typically think that I can turn it green. And then at the end, I'll say, damn, man, why don't I just avoid that red flag when I had the chance? Because the ass was nice, the sex was good, because she talked to me. She had so many other green flags that I kind of looked past this one. There's a lot of people that's doing that. And so here I am out here trying to coach players that don't want to play the game the way that I want to play it. And that's happening for a lot of guys. And so our tools are being stripped from us, or we're ignoring, like in my case, the red flags when we first see them. And so now we're putting people on our team that should never be there to begin with.
And you know what's tripped out, Shannon?
Shannon, you just solved your own equation right there. I don't know if you heard it at the end, but you just identified your whole problem and solved it right there. So hopefully you listen to your own damn advice.
That's my problem. I know I'm like that singing coach that can teach you how to sing, but don't give me a mic because I can't sing myself.
Well, I'll just repeat. I'm not going to dwell on it too much, but I'll just repeat what you just said. You ignored the red flags because this and that. That's your difference maker right there. You just solved it yourself. But I say,
go ahead.
I think to be a effective leader, it requires a lot, right? You need a bit of charisma to be able to reach people. I know someone, it might have been mentioned earlier, you have to be proven. People expect you to have some type of stain before they follow you. They have to believe you. That's a big part of it. And just understanding perspective. I've been a leader for a while with a lot of things, even something as simple as like a card club or whatever. And I would take on that challenge, because I feel like we could get it done, right? But you have to be able to understand where that other person's perspective is and where their deficiencies are, and you have to know how to talk to everybody. I know it was mentioned earlier that sometimes you got to speak on it. I know Sweeney said it. You got to call shit out. You can't be afraid to call things out when it's not cool. And a lot of people are too nice to be a leader because they don't want to ruffle feathers, and they're like, well, damn, let me just see if they do. They won't do better. Some people you got to put pressure on. Some people you got to be easy with, but it's up to you as a leader to be able to discern how to reach people, because you can't paint everybody with a big brush. You have to get in there and understand who I could help with this. Right now, Shannon, I know you also mentioned that they don't make it easy for us. It's extremely difficult, because when you try to be a leader, like they said, toxic masculinity, you try to be a leader, like, oh, well, what's wrong with homie, man? Why he acting like that? And it's just a lot easier for us to just not be a leader. It's so much easier, because now when you decided you want to lead, you are accountable for everyone's actions. When someone else makes a mistake, you are held accountable for it. And a lot of people just don't want that pressure. The way that we'd have to talk about just how we are mentally right now, and we're just not as tough. So we can't take it when somebody's coming down on us, and we don't want that responsibility. And we've been groomed in such a way where it's just easier, right? A lot of us don't have our positive male role models in, and I stress that all the time, and I'm gonna continue to stress it because it's necessary, right? The positive male in your life is going to be the person who can form you into a good leader, because you're going to be following him, and he's going to set the standard, he's going to set the precedent, and you're going to follow that. And judging on what you got from him is what you're going to get ultimately, and what you're going to produce. It's so much easier to just play video games. It's so much easier to just eat what the hell you want to eat, right? It's so much easier to be lazy. Nobody bothers you, and everyone says it's okay. Oh, that's what you want to do? It's okay. That's what society is right now. They tell you, oh, okay, it's cool. They'll just coddle you, and they'll say, nah, don't worry about it. It's all right. If you can't do it, don't worry about it. And that's what we're dealing with. Nobody really pushes us. We don't hold each other accountable as much as we should. We don't tell each other, look, man, this ain't right. You're going to have to get busy out here. We always say, oh, it's okay to be average. It's okay to be normal. But we don't strive for excellence. We just don't. It's not in our nature, because we weren't groomed like that to begin with. So the main problem, if we're going to try to be solution-based, fathers, Do everything in your power to not have children that you are not going to be in their lives. Stay away from females with those red flags that we was talking. Do everything that you can. You can't eliminate the risk, but you can certainly do things to mitigate it. You just have to be more careful about what it is that you're doing. Be extremely cautious what women you select to be in your life. Make sure it's a woman that is really considerate, understanding, and it just knows how to treat a man. Because you're not going to be, if that's not the case, it's not going to be sustainable. And then we're going to be raising fatherless children, and the cycle will continue. So we have to be in our children's life as much as we can, because that's where it starts. And you have to teach them how to be a leader and not to be a follower, and teach them that the easy route is not the way to go. And we have to hold our friends accountable. When our friend come in and they telling us all of the issues that they having, are we giving them solutions? Are we telling them, nah, that shit was corny that you did? Do we hold them accountable? Everybody around us. And it's not, and nobody's expecting every single dude to be out here trying to lead the world. But you start small. You start with your family. You start with your immediate circle. And you progress into whatever that you know you can handle.
I got a question for all the fellas on the panel real quick. Do y'all
No, man, let me answer first, Sweeney, before you change
hold
yourself.
on. I'm not gonna change the
No, I
subject.
ain't been talking, dog. I ain't been talking.
I've been going for an hour and a half, man. Let me just ask y'all this
Well,
one
that's your
question.
fault. You should have been on time, man, bro.
This one question.
So let me go and finish. Let me say what I need to say.
Go ahead, man.
When
You
I
got
said
to leave anyway.
when JR asked a question about leadership, I sit there and said no. So we haven't been good leaders. We haven't been. The reason why we ain't been good leaders, it shows by what we're having a conversation now. A lot of times men pick the women they want instead of women they need. That's one thing. When you try to partner up with somebody or try to collab with somebody or get with somebody, we picking the wrong people who are bringing in and having kids with it and trying to make a wife out of. They don't deserve it. That's a failure in our leadership because we're not seeing the red flags like Shan said. He missed the red flags. He overlooked them. We passed them over. Why? Like he said, a big ass and some big titties. She gives good head. She cook decent. Or she keep a goddamn clean house. Well, you need more than that. I need to know what's between her goddamn ears. And if she ain't got sense enough to come in out the goddamn rain, I don't need to get with that heifer. I don't need to be with her. But that's a lack of leadership on my part if I do some bullshit like that. As a man, a woman shouldn't move us like they do. But we allow that to happen. Why? Because we some weak-ass motherfuckers, man. We fall for the putty. We can't help ourselves. But that's just our nature. But somehow we're going to have to fight that shit off and be the leaders we need to be. Stand up to P instead of being like the rest of these heifers and sitting down. We better than that. But we got to act like it. And we don't do it all the time. We do it every once in a while. But we need to be more consistent with it. And just like I think Trev said, holding your friends accountable. You know you got questionable dudes in your circle. Either get rid of them motherfuckers or you need to coach them up, have a conversation with them, and they need to make a change. If they're not willing to make a change, you make a change. Get them out of your goddamn circle because they don't do nothing but bring you negativity. They're not going to help your leadership skills. They're going to bring them down. Then people going to question your leadership skills.
Look at God. I'm glad he stopped him with that bullshit. Now I'm just playing. Hank. I was just playing. Hank was saying a whole lot there.
Hank, you back on?
Oh, am I? I didn't know my shit was acting up. My bad. But like I said, I teach this to my family members, my son's teammates, and all that shit because leadership is very important. So fuck what Sweeney talking about. He ain't talking about shit. He's about to come up with some excuse why men are leaders. We're not all leaders like that. If that's the case, we wouldn't be having this conversation about questioning our leadership.
You can't assume what I'm about to say.
A question if we was leaders.
You can't assume what I'm about to say, man.
So we got to accept what we got to accept. We got to do better. That's what we got to do.
You can't assume what I was about to ask or say.
Hey, I just had one more clip to add more context to the conversation and play this, and then we get to Sweeney.
Also say what gets frustrating for men, and I'll kind of be an advocate in a little bit, is to say that a lot of women, they don't seem to want to take any accountability. And it seems like when a man wants to take a little bit of accountability, the woman's like, yeah, he needs to take accountability. And it seems like, man, we're wearing all of this weight. We're taking all of this burden. You need to take accountability first before I take accountability. So it's this tug of war that's saying, hey, you do your part, then I'll do my part. And now we're competing. But I think if we can recognize the way that God designed us, God designed women as receptive beings.
Yes.
And biologically, the egg is a receptive organism that receives the seed. The man gives the seed. Even biologically, anatomically, the man has to give himself to the woman. The woman receives the man inside of her. And women are responsive by nature. It's almost like parents. You know, if we all have black parents that, they whoop us with the belt and they'll get mad that we scream and cry. Don't be, shut your mouth. I'm like, it hurts. I'm screaming because you hit me. And so we as men are literally whipping and being mad at the scream. Right. We are men that are causing and being mad at the response or the effect of the cause. If we could take our time to say, hey, this is how we've contributed, and this could potentially be a response. Like, okay, these women are doing this. These women are not moving like this. Like my brother said so eloquently, I love that. She's moving in so much pride. But I'm expecting her to move in all this humility when all I want to do is lead in arrogance. All I'm doing is I want her to be subservient, and I want her to be under my control, and I need her to move like this, and I'm not leading and pouring that in for her to give that back. Miles Monroe says that stuff a lot. Like, man, she gives back or gives you back in multiples what you pour in. And so at the end of the day, men, if we realize the way women are designed by nature over time, if we give them the right things,
right,
we pour in the right things, then eventually they begin to give back what we pour in.
But see, I think I want to add this in here too, because I think we have a distorted view of what fair is in manhood. Because I don't think,
break that down.
Because the reality of it is, it's really not fair when it comes to responsibility and accountability. Actually, my mom actually taught me a very important lesson of accountability in manhood that I didn't even know I was learning. Shout out to anybody who was the oldest in their household. You might have learned this lesson too.
Yes, that's it.
My mom only spoke to the oldest.
Wow.
She only gave the rules to the oldest.
That's a good one. Wow.
She'll walk straight up to me and she'll tell me exactly what needs to happen. Make sure nobody don't leave this house. Make sure that person cleans the room. Make sure this happened. Make sure that happened. And make sure this and that happened. My mom comes home. They haven't done what they're supposed to do. I get my ass whooped. And I'm pissed. I thought that was just so unfair. I told him to do it. They didn't want to do this. She did. I told you to make sure that this was supposed to happen. And as a kid, I didn't realize that that's a leadership principle.
Yeah, it is.
Because I was the one that was entrusted with the role, the responsibility, and the instruction from my leader to be able to make sure everything was carried out. And if I was a better leader, then what would have happened was it would have been order, and everything would have gotten done. But because I was half-assing leadership, the jobs were not carried through. And I perceived that as it being unfair, that I was the only person that received punishment.
Yeah, no,
and
that's good.
Men,
that's good, bro.
We want it to be fair.
Yeah.
We want to be the leaders. We want all the submission. We want all to be entrusted with all of the power that comes and responsibility that comes with a man, but not also the unfair accountability that comes with the manhood.
Because it's very powerful. Because what you just said is literally what happened in the garden.
Yes, sir.
God told Adam all the instructions. Eve came along and ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And when God approached him in the garden, who did he walk up to? Adam. He approached Adam and said, what have you done? Yeah. And the first thing he said, the woman you gave me, right? right.
There's something wrong with this woman.
There's something wrong, but he approached Adam because he gave the command to him. Yeah. Right. And he entrusted him with that leadership. You know what I'm saying? And I think what God wants us to do is to be like Christ.
Bro. You see, this is how you know people aren't rooted in reality. When you was a kid and your mama beat your ass because your siblings didn't clean up, what they really expected, what your mama expected you to do was actually do the cleaning. So if they didn't do it, you had to do it. That's what the expectation was. It wasn't lead them to make them clean up, because the siblings that had the power to make their siblings clean up also had the power to beat their siblings' ass. When you had that older sibling that was like 18, 19 years old, and they still live with mama, and she told him, make sure your brothers and sisters clean the house, you also had the power to whoop them. You also had the power to punish them. You also had the power to tell them they can't go outside when they couldn't go outside. You also had the power to take their game away. You also had the power to take their toys away. When you was in that position, your position didn't come with all responsibility and no power. And this is where he got wrong in the scenario of today. Men aren't asking for unfair power. They're saying if you're gonna give half our power away, then you also got to give them the responsibility of that power. If you're gonna give them the power, you got to give them the responsibility. You don't get to give them the power and keep giving the power away and then say, oh, but I'm only gonna hold you responsible if they fuck up. But the question I was gonna ask the fellas on the panel was, and then I'll let y'all give context to what he just said afterwards. Have y'all ever had a problem leading boys and men in large? Have y'all ever had a problem getting boys and men to move in a direction? Not a few bad apples. For the most part, the group of boys and men, you were able to get them to move in one direction.
Not at all. I've been a leader all my life. I was brought up that way. I don't know about you gentlemen, but if you had active fathers, have you ever heard that? I think Trev said it a second ago. My father instilled in me at a young age, be a leader, not a follower, right? You lead by example. You lead also with your words. And I just never known anything else.
What about you, Shane? You ever had a problem leading boys and men on a common goal, getting them to move in the direction you needed them to go in?
No, and I don't think anybody has, because typically the ones that follow you want to be. It's we the willing, like that's the whole thing. Is we the willing. So the ones that get in line are there. Our issue is the ones that, man, I ain't fucking with them, and they don't even show up. That's the issue that we're having. But no, I haven't had any problems with the ones that fell in line.
And what's crazy about that is that we say that we live in a society where all these boys and men are raised by women, but somehow, some way, we can still move them. Why is it that the problem is again, I said it earlier, when you give somebody the power to do what the fuck they want to do, see, the thing is, men, we understand we can't do what the fuck we want to do. Either you get in line or you fall by the wayside and you die. We know that. It is what it is. You can't, there ain't no way around it. Life has a way of knocking you on your ass. So when Trev come in and when JR is on this panel, he tell us, hey, bro, I need y'all to chill. I'm moving on to the next topic. Either we can get with it or he'll hit the get gone button. And you'll never be up here again. And we're willing. And so what happens is we're dealing with a group of people, by and large, that only want to be led in the direction that they want to go in. If you're not going in the direction they want you to go in, they're not going to follow you. And it is what it is.
So, Sweeney, according to the video, we're talking about relationships specifically now. So, as far as women are concerned, right, or just men in general, what powers do we not have that you think we should have that would make us or help us to be more effective leaders?
See, the thing is that I don't think we have to be that anymore to them. I think we should, all they need is the responsibility and accountability that comes along with it. And that's what men have been trying to do. The thing is, we can't do nothing about, you can't unring the bell. Once we run that bell, you can't unring it. They got what they got. All we can do is say, okay, with that comes accountability. So when you fuck up, we're going to treat you like you fucked up, just like we treat everybody else out there. You said you want to lead yourself. Lead yourself. You say you want to move to the beat of your own drum. Move to the beat of your own drum. But when you fuck up, don't expect me to come in and save you. Don't expect me to come in and fall on the bullet, take the bullet for you. Don't expect me to come in and fall on the grenade for you. Don't expect me to come in and clean it up.
So right now, you feel like we should just throw our hands up and say the hell with leadership as men and leading our families?
We have no problem with leadership as men because we still move forward in society. We're still creating. We're still doing everything. Everything is still moving forward. We're creating every single day, innovative every single day, moving in a common direction. But when it comes to this relationship thing, if they don't want to follow you, they want to move to the beat of their own drum, you let them. But you don't go in and you try to save them when they fuck up. You don't eat that responsibility. We got to stop eating the failure of people who don't want to be a part of a solution. Let them do their thing. And when you fuck up, you got to eat it.
Yeah, I don't agree with it because it's not functional, right? It's not working. We're looking at what's happening in the society. It's not working. We're going in a really horrible direction right now as far as the family unit. We were just talking about how we don't have community. And it starts with the home. It starts with the nuclear family. And then when you got people run around here talking about blow the nuclear family up, no pun intended, it's toxic and it's not going to work.
Well, the reason why it's not working is because they never got the responsibility of it. They never got the accountability of it. You can't, if I can do what I want and then I don't have to have no responsibility for what I do and how I go out into the world, it would never work. We keep trying to eat their failure. That's why it's not working. And the thing is that, like I said, you can't unring the bell. So you can't stick everything back in the box and say, all right, well, we gonna make y'all do this. No, it's once you give them the power, you have to give them the responsibility. They've never had the responsibility to atone for the things that they do in the world. That's why it's not working.
So you can see yourself in a situation like that, Sweeney, where you're not leading. You would be good with that?
I'm not talking about myself. I'm also not experiencing this problem. We're talking about women and men in general. And women in general are not following men. So why do you keep trying to force somebody to do what you want to do? And then every time they mess up, you say, well, I'm going to come in and take responsibility. Because that's all we're doing is basically telling men, hey, you need to take responsibility for what people who have all the autonomy in the world to do what they want and go left when you want to go right. And we keep telling them, hey, you need to figure out a way to fix that person rather than letting that person fall on their own shit. Because we won't tell any.
I think we should leave them. I think we should leave those type of people alone. To be honest,
but that's what most of them are. They don't want to follow nobody. They can't be led.
That can't be by the model you get. You said most of them, so that means you're talking about the majority. Now you're supposed to leave the majority by the wayside rather than fight to correct a trend that is going in the wrong way and win back the community and the household. So you're saying divest from them. If you're saying, which came out your mouth, the majority of them, you can't give up on the majority of women out here if you feel that they're going astray and you can't tell them nothing. You have to keep fighting.
No, I said that you have to let them eat the cost of their failures.
You said the majority.
I said you can't be right. But the majority of them. So I'm not saying turn your back on them. I'm saying that you have, when they do something that messes up, the only thing you can do is the same thing we do to men. When you mess up, Kenny, if you mess up, we hold you accountable for your actions. We come in, you go to jail, you get in trouble, you lose your shit, you lose your house, you lose your home, you whatever we want to do to hold you accountable, we would do that. What I'm saying that we're doing for women is every time they fuck up, we run in and try to take on the responsibility for why they fucked up instead of saying, you fucked up. This is how you fucked up. This is a consequence of you fucking up. What you gonna do about it?
You want
so Sweeney? I think it's more unrealistic to try to have women accept accountability.
That's
my opinion.
Crazy. What the what?
It came out your mouth.
If you said it makes no sense.
No,
so you think
so you say it's impossible to hold women accountable, but we could give them all the power and autonomy. But you're saying that it's more possible for us to strip them of their autonomy and the shit that we gave them. We gave them all the power in the world. So you're saying that it's easier to take all that power back than it is to hold them accountable for their actions?
You just changed the paradigm of your question. Don't do that. Go back.
I did. I asked the question that I asked.
No, you didn't.
You can't tell me. Yes, I did. The question I just asked is the question I asked. See, this is man, bro. It is what it is. Y'all can keep trying to do that shit. I'm leaving their ass by the wayside. Y'all keep trying to fall on that bullet if you want to, and y'all gonna keep getting the same result. You're gonna bump your head over and over again.
Sweeney, you know the beautiful thing about why you jumping up on your soapbox? You're married. You ain't got to save nobody. Like you said.
Trev is married.
Okay, so wait.
Hink is in a relationship.
I'm talking
Marcus
to
is
you.
married.
I am talking to you, the one who's up on the podium. I'm talking to you.
Come
so
on,
it's not
hold
your
me
problem.
accountable. School me on some shit that I don't know.
School you on some stuff you don't know.
School
How
me on
long
some
you been
shit
out?
I don't know.
So how long you been out the dating market?
What does that matter?
You just can't answer a
Y'all
question,
talk
right?
enough. I haven't been in the dating market for 14, 15 years. How does that
Okay.
matter with what I just said?
So would you say you
keep saving them? How's that working out for you?
That's what you do.
Please tell me, how's that been working out for you? Because you on this panel
Can't have
too.
a civil
How's that been
discussion.
working out?
Hold on, Sonny. You gotta let him finish. Let him finish.
Because he
have a
want
civil
to attack my life. Let's find out.
Now I'm attacking you.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, I just used the wrong word. You're right, bro. But you saying I've been out the dating game for 14, 15 years. I grant you that. Now tell me how it's been working out for you falling on that sword.
How's it been working out for me?
Falling on that sword. Yep.
Okay, so wait. So now I was asking you a question and you saw what you just did?
Go ahead.
How are you asking me a question and you're unwilling to answer mine?
What's your question?
See, here's the ill thing
Because
about
the only question I heard you ask was how long I've been out the dating game, and I said 14 years. I did answer. Was that your question?
Oh my God.
Was that your question?
It's hard to have a discussion,
What's
man.
that your question? Bro, we're having a meta conversation. Was that or was that not your question?
No, I wasn't able to fully pose my question because you kept doing what you were doing.
I'm ready. I'm listening.
Okay, so I'm not attacking you, right?
I just said I used the wrong word.
You're speaking passionately about something that you've been out of for the last 14 to 15 years. Yes, you have a voice because you're a man within this community. But you also said the majority of women are acting this way and you should divest from them. That's why
I didn't say that.
People stay. That's why people stay quiet and listen to you, because sometimes you go on these long
saying divest. When did I say that? Don't put words in my mouth.
Did I say divest?
Yes. I didn't say divest.
No, that was my word.
You just used it.
You said, yeah, that's my word. You said leave him on the wayside, didn't you?
Does that mean divest when I gave you context? You always preach about
that's
context.
That's a synonym to divest, isn't it?
You can't say no, because you're using you're ignoring my context that I clearly gave you.
How am I? If you're saying leave them at the wayside, that means discard.
When did I say that?
Okay, let's see if we can move the conversation so that we're not getting stuck, right? Okay, so Sweeney, clarify what it is. I mean, either Kenny make the point, but somebody got to listen in order for us to get through it.
Well, let me say it one more time for Kenny. You hold them responsible for their actions. You don't keep falling on the sword every time they fuck up. That is not divesting. That is holding them accountable like you will hold any other person, any other man in the community accountable when you give them power. You hold them accountable. You treat them the same way you treat everybody else. That doesn't mean divest. That means treat them like every other person that got responsibility in the community and power and autonomy.
So do you have the power to do that?
Yes, we as a society do have the power to do that.
You as a man have the power to do that?
Yes.
No, you don't. You have the power to tell a woman, boo. You don't have the power to raise your voice at a woman within a workplace. You don't have the power to correct. You don't have the power to give a woman guidance, because she can always turn it like you turn innocent questions into whatever you choose to put it in. They can frame whatever they wish to say about what you just said and empower it to make
How do you hold the man in your life accountable?
Huh?
When a man in your life fucks up and they do something wrong, and again, when I say hold accountable, I mean let them experience the consequences of their actions. Stop falling on a sword. Stop trying to eat the accountability for them.
Please don't get long in the tooth again. You asked a simple
I'm not getting
question.
long in the tooth.
It doesn't need a monologue. You asked the question.
All right.
How do I hold men accountable? If those are like-minded people where I could have the discussion, clear the grievance, and come to an amicable agreement or disagreement or agree not to agree, we handle it that way.
Okay.
If it's something violent, I try not to go there. because I know I'm a man over 50. You ain't putting your hand on me, and I ain't leaving you there. So I try to avoid those things because I have my mindset on that. You understand? So I try my best to walk it back. So said individual, if it was man to man, that we can come to agreement so it doesn't go past words.
But I mean, that's not what he asked.
That's not what I asked.
But he was saying, how do you, as a man, leading other men, right? If a man
That's
in
not
your
what he
life,
said.
somebody
He said, how do I handle disagreements with other men? That's what he just said.
But no, I didn't. That's not what I asked.
He didn't, bro. He's saying basically, how do you, if you have to hold a man in your life accountable for fucking up as a man, as a leader, how do you do that? Would it be any different than the way you would lead a woman? You saying you can't tell a woman nothing?
Okay, so
this, that, and the
wait.
other?
So I can answer that
disagree.
easy. I can answer that easy. If I misheard, I misheard. If that is the question asked to me, I present the grievance that I have. And if that man is like-minded and sees the grievance and we could discuss it, then we could put it to bed. If he's not seeing the grievance, I move away from it. And then I make a judgment call as if this is someone that I can continue having relationships, or if I have to distance myself from that one. Because when men get past words and things get past in agreements, they make a judgment on how they see you at that point.
And Kenny, I don't even mean if you have a conflict with someone. I mean, if you see a man
gave
out
you
there,
two paradigms.
I know.
I gave you
What
two
I'm
parts.
saying is, I'm just trying to get you to understand a little bit further what I'm trying to say. If you saw me outside acting a damn fool, talking shit to somebody, or walking the street, fucking up people's shit and everything, what do you, or if I say, for instance, I don't do right by my kids or something like that, how do you, when it's time to hold me accountable, how do you do it?
You threw in too many paradigms. You got to pick one.
When you see me out there being anything less than of what a man is supposed to be in society, that's whether I'm not doing right by my kids, whether I'm out there doing wrong by the community, i.e. selling drugs to the community, robbing people, some shit like that. If I'm acting unruly or I'm talking shit to somebody, acting loud in public, how do you hold me accountable in society? How would you do it?
Okay, that is a judgment call. You got to be able to read the room. Is this someone that I can speak to and hold accountable? Because not every man you can hold accountable. You could say something as for guidance to another brother and end up with a bullet in your back. You understand? So you have to be very mindful of discussions you have within leadership, or be able to adjust the conversation if the person is willing to have it. Brother, that's not the right way.
If I'm
so I want to just say, with all this being said, when we asking the question, are men failing at leadership? Kenny, right now you showing us that some of us are failing us at leadership. Because I feel like you're copping out when it comes to leading men, bro. You don't have to have these discussions because you are dancing around the question and making it as if, if we can agree to this. That's not what we're talking about.
What are you talking about?
Leading.
How am I dancing around it?
Because you're not answering the question. You're not answering the question.
Okay, which part didn't I answer?
So he's asking you just straight up, how would you address it? You
not
dancing around.
Listen,
hold on. You asked me how. You asked me how. You gonna let me answer, right?
Wait, because you're lying.
You gonna let me answer?
He's not asking a straight up question. He throws different parts in it.
Well, I'm making a statement on it. I feel like you looking at it completely wrong, and I think everybody's not a leader. Well, sometimes some of us have to be led.
Well,
and
look
when I have it, look,
Law, you're implying that I'm not a leader.
Hey, Kenny, do you have kids? Kenny, do you have kids?
No.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay, what does that mean?
So let me answer. Let me ask you.
No, stop, man. I want to see where they're going.
Man, we're not getting over this.
Go ahead, Hank. Go ahead.
Nah, man, but like honestly, like you might want to. Okay, fuck it. Let's just keep it real. You said, where is this going? But ask yourself this. Why would I automatically ask you, do you have kids, but also assume that you do not have children?
I don't know. You have to tell me. I'm not going to write your story for you.
That's what I want you to figure out, because it's the way
No.
what you're saying.
So
No,
I'm
it's
telling.
I'm not
I
going
just
through. I'm
said it.
not doing a horoscope. I'm not doing a crossword.
Well, I just said it. You
no,
are
no,
showing
but
that
it's like,
some men
okay,
are not
so,
leaders, bro.
Law.
so when you said that
Sherm had
somebody,
something he had to say.
all right, for real. I'm gonna just keep it real. Listening to you talk, the way you respond, though, you know how you're talking and all of this stuff. I cannot see you being like somebody that has a child that's bringing the child up that has to be selfless. You know what I'm saying? Because I know that fathers have a different perspective of the world. You know what I mean? And how things are and how you're supposed to act as a leader. It's damn near no excuses, no nothing. You know what I mean? And the way you talk and the way you conduct yourself, I just couldn't ever see you being in that position.
Okay,
You know what
so
I'm saying? Where
stop
you have
there.
to do
Full
that.
stop. Full stop. I raised my nephew. He didn't come
That's
from
not
the
nah,
blood.
bro.
He
Nah,
went to
I
the
don't give a
air.
fuck
Wait,
about none of that, bro.
wait,
No,
wait. I
no.
let
I'm
you
talking about
talk.
a child coming
I
out of your
allowed you to
that live
talk.
with you, bro.
I
That is not
allowed
the
you to
same.
talk. So allow me to crush
Okay.
your dream.
All right,
He
cool.
went to the military. He's out. He has a job. I can't say what type of job he has. Stepping foot, he was with me. Step in foot, he was with me. Taught him values. I'm his idol. That's why he does so well right now. Dad died. He was with me, step and fetch. Don't do this, do that. Put this in your pocket. Save this way. Go into the military. Make something of yourself. Sherm, you ready? You was weighed and measured from last week. You're bad at discerning, even though you think you are.
Hey, bro, I have 4 children
I
that came
chose
out
not
of
to
my
have
nuts,
children.
nigga. You know what I'm saying? That's what
I
I'm saying.
chose
Like,
not to
you
have. I
cannot
chose
tell me
not
that
to have
that's the
children.
same, bro.
You made
I
a false
children,
assumption about
I
me.
watched 4 children come out of
Okay,
a
that's your
woman, bro.
business.
You
All right,
That's
cannot
your
tell me that
business.
that's the same, bro.
Let's make sure we stay on.
That's your
We stay on
business.
task, y'all.
You made a false assessment about me.
No,
I
I
am
did
a
not.
leader.
You never
I am a
fathered a
leader.
child.
I
Hold on,
am a
hold on.
That's
leader.
not the same
I
thing,
am a
bro.
leader. I am a
No,
leader.
no, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying you
No.
never fathered a child.
Okay,
That
so
is not
what
the
does that?
same as taking
Okay,
care of a nephew,
I got
bro.
you. I got you. So that make me less than a man?
No, I
That's
could
not what
just
he's
tell. It
saying.
just is what it is,
So wait.
bro.
So
Like Law
when you
said,
said
some
I
men
did
are
not
leaders,
have my
some men.
own child and I raised my nephew into the man he is right now, is the only difference is that didn't come from my semen. So that means if I had an adopted child, that would be the same premise. So
Bro.
what are you talking about?
Hey man,
I could tell
hey,
from
I'm
your
gonna just
speaking
tell
style
you,
that you're
every
not the
man,
man to raise a
every
leader.
man on
That's
this
what you was
channel
getting
that
at.
is a father.
Kenny
You
and
know what
Sean,
I'm
let's
saying?
just
I
make sure that
guarantee
we
you they will tell you
stand
that
on
it is
topic.
nothing like taking
Listen,
care of
y'all is
somebody else's child
clownish.
that is not yours.
Y'all is clownish.
No, it's not,
That's
bro.
clown
It's real.
talk.
So hold on. I going into all that. You know what I'm saying?
That
Hold
is
on. Let's
clownish.
hold on. One mic, Joe, so we can hear. You know what I'm saying? Stay on topic. My point of saying what I said was in direct response to the question: are men failing at leadership? And Kenny, just
You
by
took
some
your
mistake,
jab,
just
and I heard
listen.
it.
It's not a jab. I'm talking directly to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I feel like you showing by not understanding what Sweeney was saying that some of us are
You
failing
don't
at leadership.
understand Sweeney. You haven't been around Sweeney long enough.
It has
You're
nothing to do
new.
with
You
that.
ain't
I'm
wiping
listening.
feet in the floor.
I'm
You don't see how he
listening,
spins
brother.
stuff.
Listen. All of that fine and dandy. Listen, I'm listening. All I'm saying
Fine
is
and dandy, that means you're brushing it
he
off.
tried. So look. Do me a favor. When I'm speaking, allow me to speak. I'm not cutting you off, right? What I'm telling
Brother,
you
you
is,
do a lot of cutting
there we
off
go
since you came
again.
on the show.
There we go again.
All right, y'all.
So
Listen. Let's just make sure we able to finish. Let's just hash through this. Let's make sure we don't spend too much time like dancing with this. I want to make sure we got an audience that's watching. We can have all the conversation.
I just want to. My fault. Go ahead.
Like we still talking about men failing at leadership. Let's make sure we get an audience what they came for.
So I want to answer Sweeney's question. I'm gonna answer Sweeney's question again. Men are failing at leadership. Men are failing at leadership, man. Look here. Part of the problem is why is every man trying to lead every woman? That's not our job to lead every woman. Find a woman who you need in your life and lead her. And if every man does that, we'll be fine. Then we'll get the majority in order. But the problem is we always get them women who don't want to be led. Dude, you knew she didn't want to be led before you said I do, before you played with your last name. That's your fault. you ring on that heifer's finger. Why are you doing that? Knowing she wasn't ready to follow, knowing she didn't want to be led, yet you still married anyway. You fail as a leader. You fail. Say what you want to. You fail. So you got to eat that. So we're gonna sit there and blame all these women for falling off. Yeah, we got to take that L. Because most men hated these women. They kowtow to these women. That's why you got these dudes called simps. Lack of leadership in themselves. That they do these things for these women. Even though they get treated bad, talked too bad, acted bad, cheated on, all that shit. Yet they still fall for that shit. Where's the leadership in them? We can't say majority of men are leaders because they failing at it. That's they showing a bad example. So to answer your question, sweetie, how you gonna correct a man or address a man depends on the relationship I have with the man. If I have a relationship with you, sweetie, I'm gonna come to you, sweetie, what the fuck is you doing, dog? Why you acting like a damn fool? You doing some dumb shit. You wanna mess around and get locked up? Then your kids gotta see your ass behind a goddamn glass? You look like a fool out here. Go home and act like you got some goddamn sense. That's what I would say to you. That's how I would correct you.
What about the ones you don't have a relationship with?
The ones I don't have a relationship with you?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Fuck you.
Matter of fact, Hank, this is exactly what I expected Henry to say. You let whatever happens to her happen to them. If they go out in the street and they act a fool and they get dealt with,
put my name in any ears.
no, I didn't
Please
say
do
that.
not use my name.
Kenny,
Please
bro,
do not use my name.
Kenny,
Sweeney, it's at the point right now. Don't use my name. Just make your points. Just make your points.
I can use your name because
there's
I
too
asked you
much
the
sucker
question
shit
first.
going on.
What does that have to do with what I just did?
You just weighed and measured
Swing,
as for how they see people. People feel that they can talk to any type of way over the net.
I got it. Hank, that's what I expected to be said. What I expected to be said was you let the shit happen to them. When they fuck up and the police show up and they got to go to jail, they go to jail. When they don't get a woman because they don't know how to act right or they don't know how to treat a woman, they don't get a woman. When they think that they supposed to get the results they get and they don't get them, you let them not get the results. You don't come in and fall on the sword for them and tell them always gonna be okay and I'm gonna help you through this and no, I'm gonna do it for you. No, you let them eat their own failure. That's what you would do to a motherfucker you don't give a fuck about. And then the nigga that you do give a fuck about, you'll try to help that nigga, but you're gonna still be like, hey, look, these your consequences. But here, let me show you how to not fall for that shit again. But you let men eat the failure of what they do in the world. You let them eat the consequences. What we have in society for specifically women, because I get what Hank is saying when he's talking about men picking the wrong woman and you're trying to lead the wrong woman. But I'm not talking about a woman for any man specifically. I mean, we're talking about women in general and men leading women in general. When you give women power, you have to also give them the responsibility and the accountability of said power. If you never give them that, and us as men keep trying to eat their failures and take accountability for their failures, you would never fix it. Either you can fix it by taking their power away.
Right then and there, what you said, that's part of your lack of leadership because you should have never gave the power. That's your problem. Why are you giving them power? Why? Why are you doing that? They shouldn't have no power. If they have any sex like that, you feel as a man and as a leader. What power do they need to have, Sweeney?
Hey, that's a conversation for a different day.
And Sweeney, that's what I was reverting to earlier. Like how the hell do you get into a situation like that in the first place? Like, why would you feel comfortable giving women that power as a man?
Again, we're talking about it on a personal level rather than on a macro level. On a macro level, women have the power to make their own money, get their own jobs, buy their own shit, don't have to listen to nobody. They can move to the beat of their own drum. They don't have to be with you. So with that being said,
Sweetie, they can do all that when they're single. But if you with a man, you don't do all that. You don't move like that no more. You move differently.
But that's what,
and if that's your lack of leadership right then and there.
And that's the thing, though, is that what's happening now is that's exactly what we see men are doing. They leaving their ass alone And then we're telling them, oh no, you got to go over there and try to fix them. No, the only way you can fix a person that doesn't know how to act right is you let them not act right and then deal with the consequences. The only thing, what they say, a hard head makes a soft behind. Once you start fucking up,
sweetie? Why are you trying to fix them? Why are you trying to?
I'm saying leave them alone.
My job is not to fix every woman. My job is to find a woman that's already ready made. I might have to tweak her here and there and show her what I like and what I don't like, but I'm not going to be doing an overhaul. Why would you choose a woman like that? You got to go fix a woman up? That's an issue you don't want to deal with. Why?
So why is we as a society trying to fix them? Let society.
I don't know. Me and like you are trying to fix them, sweetie. I ain't trying to fix each other.
I'm telling them leave them alone.
No, sweetie, you putting the white flag on straight with
leave them to their own devices when it comes to taking responsibility for their own actions.
When is the last time you picked up something and protected anything?
I protect my family every day. What are you talking about?
Okay, then shut up.
So what does that have to do with society at large?
Okay, then shut up.
Do it.
So now we can. So now we can.
You never picked up nothing in your life.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? You don't know me.
Let's make sure.
I know you.
Hold on, JR.
I watched the man back you down.
This dude just sat here and got on the panel because he got emotional because two other dudes called his ass out about something. Then you
call me out about what? What am I being called out about?
You got emotional because one person said you wasn't a
father. What am I being called out about?
Name it. And now you mad at me? Come on, bro.
Name what I got called out about.
I thought we was better than that.
Okay,
I remember when we was in a back chat, and I remember we was on this show, and I told you
what I got called out about.
Don't bring the back chat up. Don't bring the back chat up.
I remember telling you.
No, don't bring that up.
No, because
don't bring that up.
Because I remember telling you how a conversation with me and Mr. Letgo devolved based off of people telling people to shut up. And how that can be problematic on the show, and yet you're gonna come up and you agree with me and say that can be problematic, but then you're gonna sit here and do it to me, and I ain't did nothing to you. Come on, bro. I thought we was better than that.
Man. You want the laundry list of stuff that you did that I just let brush off my shoulder?
Hey, come on,
you want the laundry list right now?
Ken.
Hey, fellas. I want to see that happen tonight. I think we could get back on a topic. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to see that right now. Because if y'all listen, hold up, gents.
We still got an audience, man, that's watching for the topic, man. Let's just keep it on topic. Everything we're talking about right now is not on topic.
Okay, let me stay on topic. Leadership. Leadership is being able to read the room and still stand on your square. Good, bad, or indifferent. You understand? There's things I could have ran away from that I ran toward because I know it stood for something. I don't have to bring out the army and back of me that would tell you I'm solidified. You understand? I just don't do that no more. A man just showed me after weeks and months what he really think about me. And that's what's really stewing in me. That's not emotion. If we was in any other circumstance, he'd have to show me. And I ain't nothing but 5'9", 230. But he'd have to show me. When I talk to y'all, I talk to y'all with respect. Rewind the tape. I let y'all talk to me any type of way, and I say, please, let's just walk it back. Did you not hear that? But then you still looking for stuff that's not there.
How did I get disrespectful?
Then you talk to people like they stupid.
How did I get disrespectful? Because I would love to hear it. Because your beef wasn't with me. Somebody else said something to you, and then you caught an attitude. So how did I, Sweeney, talk to you disrespectfully? Because you told me to shut up. You didn't tell Sherm to shut up. You didn't tell Law to shut up. You told me to shut up. What did I say to you that was disrespectful?
Did I tell you shut up, or did I give you an example why you should?
Sweeney, it's your boy Shan. When you were answering Hink's question, you were being dismissive of Kenny's point. And then that's when you said, that's what I was expecting Kenny to say. That can be considered disrespectful.
Is that what you're saying?
And but the thing is, you were talking to Hink right past Kenny. That in itself is disrespectful. Since you asked what was disrespectful, I decided to go ahead and answer that for you.
Fair enough. And I would ask
No, I
is
got
that
you.
what you
I
meant?
got you. No, well, let's say it's not what you meant.
You
Let's
saw
say
the
no.
catalyst
I'm
as to
asking.
what I
I'm
answered
asking.
to.
I'm asking. Is
He gave
that
you the
what you
reference,
meant?
and now your mind should tell you that's the point that I answered to.
Okay, so
and that's when I ramped it up.
Fair enough. Fair enough. If that's how you felt, that was not my position or how I was trying to present it. All I was simply saying was that this is how I expected you because I was talking to him. I referenced you because I asked you the question first. So I said, I just wanted to say, man, how I expected Kenny to answer it was that, and I gave my example of how I think I wanted you to answer it. That doesn't mean I was trying to talk past you. Hold on, wait, chill, bro. I wasn't trying to talk past you. I wasn't trying to be disrespectful. If you took it that way, my bad. But that wasn't my intentions. My intentions were never to just talk past you and be disrespectful to you. I was just simply telling Hank, this is how I wanted you to answer the question, but you weren't answering it that way. But that's the answer I was expecting. That doesn't mean that doesn't mean that
because I didn't answer it the way that you liked. It was not the right way.
Well, no, you didn't answer the question at all. No, you didn't answer the question at all.
Well, nevertheless, that's where it was. Well, at least
fair
one
enough.
of them.
And if that's how you took it, I apologize.
Well,
if that's
wait a minute.
what you thought it was.
Wait, Sweetie, real quick. You ever heard of the term passive aggressive?
Yes.
That was a passive aggressive apology. That's what we do when women say, "Oh, if I made you feel that way, then I guess I'm sorry." Either you're sorry, either you apologize or you don't. You don't have to say. You don't have to preface it with if that's how you took it. What if you took it that way? The point is, if you felt that you could have done something different, just say, "Man, you know what? I could have did it different. My bad."
I don't think there was any other way I could have said that.
Oh, then don't apologize. That's what we mean.
If you said don't apologize for making them feel some type of way, then fair enough. I take that. But right. I truly don't believe I could have said that any differently because I didn't see it as being disrespectful because I got better intentions.
And it's not everybody don't see everything, and it's cool. And I'll talk to you about it later on off this because we're not serving the audience right now. And I'll show you different ways that you could have. But we'll do it later. Another thing is, my man Sherm, when he asked Kenny, does he have children? And then he basically was like saying, "Oh, so until you have your own children, you won't understand where I'm coming from." And Sherm, I understand where you. The thing is, I used to get that argument now. I have two sons. I'm 52 years old. I didn't have my children until I was my first son until I was 43. My oldest son, Rao, is 9 years old, and my youngest son is 6. Birthed. Second one, I had to catch him because the doctor didn't make it to the delivery room on time. And if I wasn't there, he would have fell on the floor. So I caught my son, slippery and all. But before that, I've raised 14 young men to adulthood. Some from church, because I sat on the pulpit 25 years ago. Some from Kappa League, because I'm in a fraternity, Kappa Alpha Psi, and we have an organization called the Kappa League where we go into the community and help boys that need mentoring. And in there is some that I took on personally. And then from extension, employees that's mine that I currently have and that I mentor and got to talk to them. Then when I was in the workforce 1,000 years ago, mentor a lot of mentees there. I got people in my SR Army. I have a mastermind group. I mentor. So the thing is, people used to tell me, you have to have your own children to be able to understand. And that never made sense to me. I was like, why do I have to have my own kids to understand what's right or wrong in raising children? And I got these boys here that I've raised from the time that they can barely walk. Now, I wasn't there at the delivery room for them. The baby mom, but I've been with these boys all the way to college and sent them on to success. Then when I have my own children, I realized, damn, I'm not raising them any differently. So a lot of times some people say you got to have your own to understand. I don't agree with that. And I'm saying that from having my own and not having my own. I've been on both sides of the fence. This is one of the arguments I get on. Shan, how can you give advice on relationships and you divorced twice? Because I've been single, I've been married, and I've been single again. I've seen I've seen all sides of the mountain. I know what it's like. Now I give my advice based on my failures. A lot of people give their advice based on their successes. I like to say where I failed to tell people what to avoid, because this is what I fucked up on. I don't want you to fuck up on that. But it's not necessary for somebody to necessarily be married to be able to give good marriage advice. That's what I think. It doesn't necessarily require somebody to be single and be in the dating streets. Like I think it was presented to Sweeney. That's what Kenny was saying. How long you been married? 14 years. Well, I think Sweeney, even though he's been married for 14 years and out of the dating game, he could probably still get some game. So I'm talking to everything and everybody that was bringing up, because I've been listening for the last hour. One thing that's still scrolling at the bottom of the screen are men failing at leadership. And you guys know I'm big on stoicism. Emotion has to be under control, gentlemen. This is to you, Kenny. This is to you, Sweeney. This is to you, Sherm. You lost it. You was cool at first, and you lost it at the end because he pissed you off. We all gotta we gotta wrangle our emotions, because at that point we don't want to hear shit from nobody. Everything is a defense mechanism. The sword is taken out, and anybody can get beheaded at that point. And how can we conquer the castle? How can we win our own relationships and our own homes if when we talk to each other, we ready to scrap? Gentlemen, if you don't take nothing away from what I'm saying tonight, take this. Even when somebody disses you, as long as they got distance, talk calmly. You'll get so much more across. I'll hear you better. I won't be ready. I won't be mad. You won't fire me off if you ask me, do I have kids? You won't fire me off if I say how long you've been out of the dating game. We got triggers. We just was talking about women pushing buttons, but we do that shit too. And tonight I heard a whole lot of we was buzzing, pushing buttons on this motherfucking dashboard all day long, all night long. Stoicism is really important because it says you can't control other people in this shit they do. All you can do is control yourselves. And each one of you guys in all these 8 squares can control themselves. And if you guys did that, this conversation would be served to the people that's listening to us instead of them. Probably, I'm not in the chat. I stay out of the chat because I don't want to be triggered. But I'm assuming the chat is like, damn, what are y'all talking about? Like, oh, you know, let's get past this. Or why don't we end this?
Yeah, I was reading the chat. They pretty much, yeah.
And y'all know. And so when we talk about leader, this topic literally is men failing leadership. I want you to do some self-reflection tonight, gentlemen. Don't evaluate each other. Don't nobody point fingers. I want everybody to look in the mirror and say, did I do my best in leading this conversation? And if you can honestly say, you know what, I could have did better, then you are in the position to be a great leader because you know that you got room to fix. If you feel that you did everything right tonight, do the replay, as they say. I just wanted to end with that before I go. I appreciate you, brothers. I got to run.
Yeah. And then also, too, just to kind of piggyback real quick what Shannon was talking about, and I always say this, just because we're human, it's okay to feel. It's just regulating the emotion before it hits the external. You know, you we gonna feel. You can't control what you feel, right? Because I feel a lot of shit, and you guys know, I heard it all. And some of y'all know exactly how I feel, but I regulate it because I know what type of time I can be on. And so I just stay. I keep distance. I don't watch. I don't want to hear because I just leave it at that. So you have to understand the importance of not letting anybody control your response. I don't give a damn what nobody say. I don't care. These are regular folks, regular human beings. They don't mean shit to me. As long as we don't cross paths, I'm cool.
Dig it.
Allow me to be the ignorant one on the panel then.
Well, look, I'm just saying, you know, one
I
thing
tell
about
y'all
it, I
all the
say,
time, I'm not guessing when I talk.
right. I'm always going to speak on it. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, I know conversations that we've had this stream few weeks, few nights ago, or whatever the case may be. I just see some things. Being a leader, you have to be clear with what you're saying when it comes to answering questions, getting right to it, and making sure the men and the people that are listening to you understand what you're saying. When I feel like that is not being done, I feel like that is not being a good leader, because you can't get your message across to those that are following you if you are not clear. Plain and simple. So some of us, as I stated, are failing at leadership until they get those things done. If you cannot put forth your message that you are trying to make others understand, then you are putting yourself in a position that you need to work on. And then I guess I'll use that term, being emotionally intelligent is a big part of it as well. You can't get triggered and fly off the handle because we have to ask someone 2, 3, 4 times to explain what you're saying. That's all I got.
And I would like to apologize to the panel on my behalf if I got a little out of line. I can be pretty passionate when it comes to certain things. So I want to apologize. I'm working on that. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's a work in progress.
All right, salute to you on that,
Yeah.
man. Go ahead, Trey.
Oh yeah, I'm only gonna say nothing crazy. So, sir, I was only gonna say this. You wasn't even aggressive or nothing, but that one statement right there, I think could have been more damaging than anything. Because like if you say, all right, did you have kids or whatever? We don't know. I've never spoke to Kenny about his personal situation or whatever, but we just have to consider that. And any of these examples are obviously bogus because Kenny never explained any of that to me. But we never know. He could have had a lady that could have had like hella miscarriages, or it could have been, you know what I mean? It could have been anything that we would have to be very sensitive to, right? So we just got to consider, you know, and we all men here, but like sometimes if something is like deep that may have happened, you don't know why. Maybe he chose not to, but we don't know what the situation is. So we just have to be considerate to say, all right, you know what, damn, I gotta, you know, think about that. So it's just about just a mutual respect, you know. It didn't get, I've seen stuff get really crazy. It wasn't like, I don't think anybody threatened violence or nothing like that, but it's just a situation where we just have to be able to understand some of these discussions going to be heated, right? But never take it personally. Try your hardest not to take it personally, and don't do anything to promote that either. Like, don't say anything. We got to be able to separate that personal shit, right? It's important not to, even when we're giving examples and everything, we don't want to really go into each other's lives too crazy, right? Anything that's intimate to them or anything that's like extremely personal, because then now it's a personal attack and it's something different than what we had where the discussion was based in the first place. So we just want to just be conscious as much as we can and understand that we never know what anybody's triggers are or what situations they might have. And it's just important to maintain that respect as much as we could and try not to take it personally, for real.
Yeah, and to be honest, it wasn't a personal attack. It was just me trying to understand like people's viewpoints based off of experiences. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like you might ask me, Sherm, you ever been to jail? No. You know what I'm saying? Well, what you mean? I ain't no pussy. You know, I ain't gonna say that. I'm just like, nah. You know, whatever you get out of me answering that question is, you know, that's up to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the first part, it didn't sound crazy until you was like, figures. You know what I'm saying? Like figures. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, that's when it was like, oh, okay. So what are you trying to say? What type of man are you trying to say to him? What are you taking for me right now? Like that second part is what kind of really made it like a stab.
Hey Trey.
Yeah. And I apologize if
what's my trick? Y'all been on the show. Y'all been on plenty of shows with me. What's my triggers on the show?
Oh, you got plenty.
Being told
I guess
shut up.
I would say I handled that pretty well today because I came from a place of understanding before I got upset. I didn't even get upset this time. I was just trying to understand, like, bro, what are you telling me to shut up for? Like, I thought we understood that that's not something we do to one another. So I think I handled that pretty damn well. But what else? What else, Marcus? What
Oh yeah, that did happen before. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah. Okay.
Refusing to answer a question.
Damn you, boy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate
That's
that
one.
shit. I fucking hate that shit.
All right. What's my trigger, Sweeney?
You don't like to be disrespected. And what I mean by that is that if somebody like curse you out or something like that, I don't think you take kindly to that. For the most part, you pretty even keel. You don't really have any triggers that I've seen you have to put out today. But I can say, like, some things that trigger you may be like your viewpoints being taken as a simp, because you may say things that that men by and large may not agree with. So that's one of your triggers. But you're not triggered in an angry way. You more of a, man, something wrong with these niggas, bro. Like, kind of trigger. Trev, your triggers. Let's see. I've been on here long enough with you. If I had to pinpoint what triggers Trev don't really get triggered.
No, Trev is when you cut him off, because he should be patiently waiting. So when you cut him off and he don't get a chance, and somebody said no, then he'll come back.
You know what, you're right, because I've only seen that happen to Trev once, and that's when he was going back and forth. I think it might have been with Ali, where it finally, like, I've actually seen, because Trev don't normally talk, so when he speak, we normally just let him get his shit off. So I rarely see Trev get cut off. Kenny, your trigger. Let's see. What is Kenny's triggers?
It's when you don't provide any stats, or you just saying stuff just out the sky, like, without having any.
No, that's my trigger.
Well, that's Kenny's. That's Kenny's too. Like Kenny's wants you to back up. Wants you to back up what you're saying with some type of evidence or
some data.
Yeah, some type of data.
Or putting words in his mouth, saying that he said something the way he didn't say it. I think that'll do it.
Yeah, I would say that. No, because well, yeah, that too. Kenny don't like for people to say.
Let me get these chats out real quick so I can show. MK Rich 199 Hink in the coffee date. Ikene $5 says, what the hell he's talking about? Just like these women don't want to be led. How can you lead a woman that questions your leadership in every corner? Appreciate that, Ikene. Hit the like button. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Appreciate everybody that tuned in. If you're watching the replay, hit the like button. Make sure y'all get that Teach and also that Assured Man King on top. Catch us on the next one.